up, lifted so you know. Got that vertigo, man, I can feel it in my toes. I say now light this up, moving state to state. Mind is on skyscraper, watch your body levitate.
We're no strangers to being alone. We're not perfect. We're just trying to find a place to rest our bones. Could it be you? I can run to. Could it be you? I can run to. Could it be you? I can run to. Could it be you? I can run to.
All right, let's get the Chillest podcast started, shall we? Let's get started, team. Let me turn down the volume for the music and we can get this show started. So welcome, everyone, to the Chillest podcast, episode 15. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and welcome everybody joining me on the show tonight as well. We'll get around to our brief introductions in a second here, but first off, I want to give you guys a huge welcome. Episode 15 tonight is going to be about Twitch's new subsystem, the sub-tier system, as well as the affiliates program. So this is a more casual episode tonight compared to our monthly episodes where we're more informing. Whereas for tonight, we're going to be just sharing our experiences, giving kind of unofficial feedback on some of Twitch's latest big features, just this huge stuff that's changed the game for everybody, you know, partners and non-partners alike. So without further ado, well, first off, let me introduce the Chillest podcast. If you guys don't know the Chillest, we are a stream team on Twitch. We revolve around positivity, good vibes, very engaging content, welcoming communities, interaction, that sort of deal, and just high quality content in general, both in terms of our actual stream production, as well as how we present ourselves individually and as a team. So really awesome stuff there. And we do a monthly podcast where we talk about Twitch, we talk about streaming, we talk about just video games, just a lot of really cool topics in general. And like I said, tonight's episode, we'll be talking about the latest big features from Twitch, as well as our individual experiences with it, unofficial feedback, you know, criticisms, really things that we enjoyed, things like that. So, but let's go ahead and do some brief self-introductions. We're gonna go clockwise. I don't know if you guys are looking at the stream because it's always out of order, but we're gonna be starting with Starlet Blossom. And then going clockwise, yes.
Okay, hi guys, I'm Starlet Blossom. I haven't been on a podcast in a while now, so I'm very happy to be on it. I am a positive variety streamer here on Twitch. I stream all different types of game. My channel focuses on positivity, having fun, and having a great solid community. I hope you're all having a great day today.
Awesome. And then I will be next. So I'm Snowlit. I'm a full-time broadcaster on Twitch. I stream every day but Sunday, and I usually stream action-adventure RPGs. Recently, we just wrapped up Kingdom Hearts 1, my first playthrough ever, and I'm still working on Nier Automata, my first playthrough, and we'll be starting Kingdom Hearts 2 very soon. So that's kind of what I usually play. And the next is Bog.
Hey, I'm Richie, aka Bog Otter. I'm also a full-time variety streamer on Twitch. I stream Monday through Friday typically, and I stream when my kids are at school, so it's typically earlier in the day, 11 a.m. Eastern time is my start time. I run a community called the Ottoman Empire, and we focus on friendly, positive inclusivity, and playing through Witcher 3's DLC right now. I'm going to be streaming a PlayStation game starting tomorrow. The Last of Us is my first game up for that, and I stream a lot of Guild Wars 2, which is the MMO of choice for me and my community. And I'm super excited to be here.
Sweet, welcome. And then next is Tess.
Clockwise, right. Hi, I'm Tess. I can tell. I have a sense of direction. Not really. I stream pretty much every day. I've been on Twitch for 3 years now. which is crazy and awesome to think about. I have gone from streaming sort of main games to streaming variety, back to streaming main games, back to streaming variety, but I pretty much do a little bit of a combination of the two. Right now, my main game is Destiny, and then Destiny 2 on PC when that comes out. But I'm still streaming a lot of single player sort of action RPGs. That's my favorite thing in the world, is action RPGs, either multiplayer with the community like Destiny, or single player like The Surge or Bloodborne and Dark Souls. The Surge is amazing. I'm playing through that right now. Also Mass Effect, love that series. And basically anything sci-fi, futuristic, cyberpunky, modern, urban fantasy, even some fantasy thrown in sometimes. It depends on the game, you know. Some games I will play despite the fact that they're very fantasy centric, and actually really enjoy it. But definitely a sci-fi nerd. And I also stream with a heart rate monitor, so you guys can see exactly how scared or excited or super hyped I am, how intensely focused on the game. I also tend to fall off the edge of the world in whatever game I'm playing a lot. It happens. Bad sense of direction, really bad. There's a lot of derp in my stream. Yeah, I stream in the mornings. Right now I'm streaming, trying to start around 9 a.m. Eastern pretty much every day except for Sundays. I stream at a variable time because on Saturdays I'm doing charity events to raise money for St. Jude's for all of May. So the next one coming up is this coming Saturday, and Mondays are my day off. I don't stream on Mondays.
Cool. And then last but most definitely not least, Codex Reaper.
I'm Codex Reaper, a variety and creative caster, chill variety caster. I stream late night US, early morning Europe, start approximately like 6 p.m. Pacific, tend to go until about 2 in the morning. We do chill games you tend to play to unwind or relax. We've been playing a bunch of Civilization 6 over the past few days. We've also been getting into, courtesy of the input of my community, we've been doing some Baldur's Gate. The enhanced edition, so not quite the original. Haven't whipped out the Windows 98 machine to do that, but I've been playing that, and that's what we tend to do. I do creative as well. It's coming. I took a bit of a break from doing voiceover creative work. I'm going to start getting back into it next week, reading sort of audiobooks or one-man radio dramas is what I create. That's what we do over on my channel.
Awesome. So at any point, if you guys want to know who's on the show tonight, you can type !podcast. You can get a link to all of our channels. We are not the only members of the Chillest. We have 17 total members, so please do follow and check out every single one of us. Like I said, we're all about the positivity. We're all about the good vibes. We're all about just really engaging and high quality content. So don't hesitate to check everybody out. And thank you all for tuning in. So just like with all the previous podcasts, if you guys have any questions out there listening and watching the podcast currently, feel free to @Snowlit or mention Snow or Snowy in your message, and that highlights it for me to see. So if you have a question pertaining to the discussion at hand, and I feel that it's something that we should definitely answer and discuss, please do @mention me, and I'll address it to everybody on the show tonight. So don't hesitate, guys. If you do have questions, do feel free to ask. We have our own questions that we're going to go through, but the discussion can go any which way tonight. And like I said, it's a less formal podcast tonight because we'll be discussing Twitch's latest big features. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So for those of you out there who don't know, the newest sub-tier system is what Twitch released. This affects pretty much all partners eventually, but there are partners who opted into the beta, which started about... Was it 3 weeks ago, guys? When did it come out?
Something like that.
Three-ish, 3.5 weeks?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
so-
3 weeks.
So the beta itself launched like 3 weeks ago. And what it is that in addition now to the $4.99 sub, as well as Twitch Prime subs, you now have the option to subscribe to a partner channel at the $9.99 tier, as well as the $24.99 tier. So this is a monthly thing, just like the $4.99 thing. Sub rather, not thing. But what happens is that when you do sub at those higher tiers, you count as more than one sub point. So Twitch, with this whole system, has actually introduced sub points now. So you can count as more than one sub point. Previously, when you're a subscriber to a streamer's channel, you count as one sub. And now with this new system, there are sub points. And so when you sub at the $9.99 tier, you count as 2 sub points. And when you sub at the $24.99 tier, you count as 6 sub points to a channel. And so these are great ways to help your favorite streamers unlock emotes faster. Also a great way to help streamers reach sub goals faster, that sort of deal. And of course, you know, when you're subbing at those higher price points, you are supporting your favorite streamers even more. So it's a really cool system overall. And we're going to dive into that first, and then we'll be discussing the affiliate program, which is later in the episode tonight, which is something that affects non-partners. So we'll go into more detail there in a little bit. But first, as far as the subsystem goes, guys, overall impressions of the new sub-tier system. Any concerns or apprehension before the beta launched?
I had some concerns, and we talked about it a little bit before it launched. Before we knew all the details, one of my concerns was, well, this was clearly a little bit of a target on Twitch's point of view because a lot of streamers supplement their income with services like Game Wisp or Patreon, and I've been a proud Patreon campaign runner for 3 years now, and so a large section of my income comes from the Patreon. So one of my concerns was that the new Twitch sub tiers would encourage folks to come over and drop their Patreon and actually do the increased sub tiers over on Twitch. And I didn't know what that payout ratio was going to be, because over on Patreon, it's a pretty high chunk of it. It's something like over 90% of what is pledged on Patreon actually goes to the creator, and that's a pretty good rate. So that was some of my initial concern before we understood how everything worked. Fortunately, I did not find that people dropped the Patreon and jumped over that. I think some people are even doing both, which is really awesome. And you know, Twitch actually has a more favorable payout at those increased tiers to the streamers. So I think it's a win-win. So a lot of my initial concerns were assuaged as a result of more information that we got.
Well, I mean, on that note, do you feel like people are less inclined to use your Patreon versus Twitch now?
I think it's too early to really say that. But over the last, I just did a revamp of my Patreon at the same time and added some different rewards and goals to it. So I've actually seen an increase on Patreon in addition to having the increased tiers over on Twitch. So, but it's still early to kind of, and I don't know how we'd ever get that data, right? If somebody is choosing one or another. I sometimes get questions like, what would you prefer I do? And I usually leave it up to the people, because any support is great support. Like, what perks do you want? Do you want the perks I'm offering over on Patreon? Do you want the perks that Twitch offers, the free sub tiers? Do you want the emotes? Those kind of things. And really, I think most streamers would agree. Like, any support is fine.
That's true. Anyone else on the podcast, Tess or Starlit, are you guys using Patreon or Game Wisp or anything extra like that?
No, actually, I've never used Patreon. I was going to before I got partnered, and then as soon as I was about to start it, I got partnered, and I was like, I'm gonna stick with just the subbing, just because I feel like for me, I'd rather try to funnel all the support straight directly into Twitch to help get more emotes and stuff like that. I'm just obsessed with emotes. But no, I don't have any Patreon or anything like that. Just straight Twitch partnership.
Yeah, and Tess.
Yeah, I don't have a Patreon. I have been thinking about getting one and starting one for a very long time. I sort of feel like it has to be, for me personally, it has to provide some sort of benefit to the people sort of subbing to the Patreon outside of just Twitch. Like, it has to give them some kind of benefit. So I'm hoping to start one still. They've got some stuff in the works that's kind of Twitch and running related. So that'll be cool once I finally get that going. I kind of, before all of this happened, I had similar concerns to Bog, that, it would affect us in some negative way. But one of the main reasons I really started working on my Patreon was when Twitch, our payments were late from Twitch a while back, a few months ago. that kind of made me really uncomfortable. It kind of shook me in my boots, so to speak, because I've always had so much faith in Twitch, so much faith. I've always focused primarily on Twitch, and that kind of made me nervous to kind of have all of my eggs in one basket. But since then, since that happened, like their resolution of that was very good. And everything since then has kind of restored my faith, this update in particular, because it's such a quality of life change for us. Not only does it give, partners a little bit more support with the higher tiers, but they also implemented permanent unlocks of emotes. So like say you reach an emote tier goal, you unlock an emote. What used to happen is if you reached a certain sub count and you unlocked an emote slot, and you submitted an emote and then you dropped below that emote slot like unlock point, you'd lose that emote slot. Like you wouldn't lose the emote, but you'd lose the ability to edit any emotes. Because if you edited an emote, like if you wanted to update an emote for an event like a charity or like a holiday like Halloween, if you wanted to do Halloween themed emotes, which I'm doing this year, so excited. But if you wanted to do that in the past, you couldn't do it. Because if you edited an emote, if you were below your emote tier number, you would lose that slot forever again, and you'd have to get back up there. And it's hard, especially when you're like only a few away, because people are like, well, why are you pushing us to get to this same goal again? We were already there. It was a struggle for streamers to sort of be able to update their emotes to improve their casts and to improve on their offerings to their subs. And so they changed that. They made unlocks permanent. So like say we reach a certain goal, even if we drop below that sub count, I still have that slot forever. I can do more fun things with it. It just gives us better tools. They're also adding something, it's not there yet, but they're adding a self-serve emote tool so that we'll be able to upload and delete emotes as we want without having to go through an approval process. And that will make changes like that even more easy and even more realistic. Christmas emotes, Christmas emotes, Halloween emotes, Valentine's Day emotes, St. Jude's emotes. Yeah, exactly. Like, big launch day emotes, whatever. There's so many things you could do with that. And it's just a big quality of life change, I think, for us. It really, really, really helps us out, I think, a lot as broadcasters. And so that really did a lot to kind of restore my faith, and their communication with us about all of these changes, because we did have a lot of concerns, that, like Bob Goddard said, for those of us that had Patreon or didn't have Patreon, we all had a lot of concerns about all of the details of all of this, and what it would mean for our streams, because a lot of us are full-time casters and this is our livelihood, this is our life, and it means a lot to us, and it also means a lot to our communities. And their level of communication regarding this with how they, let us know and how they let us ask questions and how much input they allowed us to have, and how well they answered all of our questions and how quickly, and just all of the communication has been such a joy to experience. Like it's never been like that before. So they really, really did a lot to restore my faith. And so I'm really happy that all of these changes are happening on Twitch, and they allow us to kind of keep everything on Twitch, bits and sub tiers and all of that. I'm still probably going to do a Patreon, just because I kind of have some things that I'm working on outside of Twitch that I want to bring to Twitch. And so I think it'll help in a different way than I thought it would before. And I'm excited about that.
And I also, with the sub tiers, there's another thing that it helps with. If you have ever experienced, I don't know if any of you guys have, but where one of your viewers wants to sub, but they make another account so they can sub twice. I think that's great for this, because now there is a feature where they don't have to go and make another account. They can just sub on the higher tiers and get extra benefits for it as well. Would they get an extra emote for $9.99 and $24.99? So they get a perk themselves, and it also benefits us more than it would having two separate accounts, which I think is great.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, it's very convenient for the people, and like you said, it unlocks benefits for everybody. So yeah,
Exactly.
To be honest, from the outside, looking at this system, I think one of the most genius parts of it was turning it from raw subscriber head count into sub points. There would have been plenty of viewers who would have subscribed at the $10 and $25 level, even if it only counted as one. But the fact that they count as 3 and 6 respectively, that's huge. That was a brilliant move to make those bigger tiers count for more.
Well, the thing is, though, Twitch has known for years that people do that, where they make separate accounts or multiple accounts and sub to the same streamer. So Twitch has known this. They're definitely not, ignoring that. And this new sub tier system streamlines the whole thing and enables people, those people that have been making those accounts. It lets them streamline the process and make it a lot easier on them, and still support their favorite streamers, the way they want to. So overall, I agree with everything that's been said so far. It's been very good overall. That kind of covers our next question about, how has it been for you overall? Your experience with it personally. Has it been good or bad or anything? Anybody had any bad experiences with it, with the new sub-tier system? Just objectively?
I don't think that it's bad. I think the only thing that we sort of have to think about as casters going through this change is, some of the alerts and things have been a little twitchy, for lack of a better word. But that's kind of a thing, they make a huge change, right? And I feel like things being a little twitchy is so not a big deal compared to how much of a benefit this gives us and our communities, so things like that I don't think are a big deal. Another thing that's a little weird that I think a lot of us didn't quite realize at first was that when so there's no prorating, right, for the upgraded tiers, which basically means that when someone is already subscribed and they upgrade, they have to pay the full price of the upgrade. Their original sub is still going, right, until it runs out, and then it automatically doesn't renew. And then their new sub at the higher tier is the one that will renew, right? And so what that does is, like, say someone subscribes on the 1st of the month, and then on the 15th of the month, they upgrade to tier 2. So they're now paying $10 or $9.99 a month, and their sub now counts as 2 sub points, right? Until the 1st of the next month, their original $4.99 sub is still going, so they still count as 1 full subscriber and 1 full sub point. Plus, they count as another full subscriber and 2 more sub points with the new sub, right? So that's why a lot of us have been kind of like pushing to get to emote goals as quickly as we could, because basically what was happening was when people upgraded, it gave us an extra point for a little while, which was great. But we're kind of reaching that point now where we're all dropping back down to where we're supposed to be realistically. And I think that will always kind of be a thing to think about. If someone is close to an emote goal, they have to push really hard right at that moment, because right at that moment is when they're going to have the best chance of reaching it. And then they might really drop significantly right after. So it's just kind of the way that works. But I don't really think that that's bad. I think it's just kind of a reality we have to take into account as streamers and as a community.
Yeah, I think that is a little bit worse on the viewers' end a little bit too, right? Because they want to help the streamer right away. They want to up their tier, but they don't get that extra 2 weeks of sub that they paid for technically, right? Because it doesn't have any kind of prorate. And they were very clear up front that, right up front in the blog post that they don't have prorating yet. We don't know if that's something they'll eventually add or not. But I definitely think that's one of the things they can improve upon, just to, make it feel better for the actual viewer who's trying to support the streamers and such. So that's one thing. I'm not a huge fan of the whole sub point thing versus sub count thing. Not that I like that it's there. I like that we push sub points to unlock emotes, but I don't like having just yet another thing to kind of track and talk about. And it's kind of confusing, especially people who aren't there every single day. They come in and they're not sure what that even means. And I don't know. It's a little clunky, not as elegant of a solution. I don't have a better one, but I'm in love with that. that whole thing, especially because some of the other tools that we use doesn't update automatically right now. So we're doing that manually and like, oh, look, something
It's
happened.
coming.
We refresh. Yeah, it's coming. But
Soon.
I guess it'll be better then. But still, it's a little clunky saying, hey, we have this many unique subs and this many sub points. And, we already throw a lot of stats at people.
I've just honestly done away with worrying about unique subs, and I've just moved on to it's a number. The unique subs is a number for me because this is my livelihood. It's a number that I kind of measure my progress with, I guess, if that makes sense. It matters to me as a caster. I don't think it matters to the viewers at all how many unique subs we have, because that is really not a competition, right? The points thing is important because it unlocks emotes for them, for the community. That's what matters to me. That's what's most important. The unique subs thing, I mean, that's like talking about view count at this point. It just doesn't matter as much. Every single member, that's the other thing that people were really concerned about, was broadcasters like treating people differently. That is absurd. If you watch a broadcaster that treats you differently because you do one thing over another thing, like you sub at a higher tier or you donate or you don't or whatever, don't watch that person. I mean, honestly, every single member of the community matters so much. No sub would ever come into a stream and sub if they didn't see the stream. The same thing goes for donors. Those people wouldn't know the stream existed if not for followers and viewers overall. Right? So every single lurker, every single viewer, every single person, whether they follow or not, whether they spend 5 minutes or they spend, 1 billion hours in your channel, whether they sub at any tier or donate at any amount, or cheer with whatever number of bits, every single member of your community is a member of your community that makes your community what it is, makes it better, makes it stronger, makes it awesome. And so every single person matters. And that is a thing that I think we've had to explain. But that's okay, even the fact that we have to explain that to people, I think is okay. I think people need to be reminded how awesome they are. I don't think that's a bad thing to tell your community that they're amazing, and that none of us would be here if not for every single one of those people. Every single person on Twitch wouldn't be here if not for every single other person on Twitch. We're all in this together. So.
Yeah, that was two of the big concerns I remember seeing being voiced when the system was first announced. Number one was that if you have a hierarchy, people will be treated differently. My thought looking at that was, well, I understand the concern, but the reality is if the channel in question, if there's an environment where people would be categorized like that, number one, you're probably already seeing it. Number two, the problem is the caster in question of the community. It is not the fault of the system. It might bring it out, but it's not a bad thing. It's just lurking under the surface. And the other one that I saw voiced that I think is there's a good discussion to be had there is, if someone, pays more, should they get more? That's into the whole that. And one of the big parts of that is, the subject of emotes, which we're going to get into, is how people have treated, for the 10 and the 25 level, how do you treat the emotes, kind of the special perks. My basic thought on that was, well, it's a general practice that yes, if someone pays more, they get something, but it is a balance as to how exactly you, as a caster, you find that. And I've seen various casters, on this team and outside of here, treated different ways, I think to varying degrees of success. I don't think there's only been one right way to handle it, though. And it's been interesting to see how that's on a community by community basis, how that's been different. But I think more than anything, the best way to summarize it is the concerns that people have voiced, which I think most of the time are valid concerns, are not inherently a problem with a tiered system. It's a question of, all right, you're given this tool and how do you use it? And if there's a problem, it probably existed long before, the addition of 10 and 25 came in. And that's why I think in really strong communities, it hasn't been a problem. It really hasn't been an issue because it was never really there to begin with. The focus was always on the people, not how much money do you give me.
Well, I think a reason that kind of concern popped up in the first place is because some people view it as, I'm buying a product. And they're like, this is not enough. $25 for one emote. I've seen that. People come into my channel and they're like, $25 for an extra emote? Screw that. I'm like, well, you're not buying a product. Keep that in mind. anytime you're on Twitch, you're not buying any products, and some people have, they see it as that, they're buying a product or they're buying a service, but they're not. And they forget that. And that's why that criticism and that concern pops up, in my opinion, a lot of the time.
Yeah. And there was also a slight, very small amount of concern that some of even the top tier subs, as you said, they'll see it as something else. And they may feel like they have more priority than other subs, when that's just not the case. They're going to be treated exactly the same as everybody else. There's not going to be any special treatment that comes with it. It's just if you want to go and support the streamer a bit extra and you want that extra emo, and it just helps us out. And it doesn't mean that there's going to be any special treatment to that person. Everyone's treated the same.
I think the point of the emotes is not to set anyone apart. It's not to say, oh, you're paying $25 for one extra emote. The point of the emotes is to say thank you. That's it. It's literally just a small, tangible thank you. I chose to make a cosmetic change to my most used and most, popular and one of my original emotes, which is the Test Love. The Test Love heart with the EKG, because I use a heart rate monitor on stream. I honestly thought, a cosmetic change would be a sweet way to say thank you, give people a little bit of a cute thing to use if they wanted a different color or whatever. But not, I didn't want it to be more than that. I didn't want to take a unique emote, like a truly unique new emote, away from other subs. But I also wanted to give people a cool thing to use, to say thank you for the extra support. It's an amazing thing when someone chooses to sub in the first place at any tier. One of the reasons we have the emotes in the first place is to say thank you. It's also just cool. Like, I love emotes. I want all the emotes. They're amazing. They're so much fun. If I could speak only in emotes, I would sometimes. I do. And it's glorious. And so, it's just another fun thing. It's not, like Snowlit said, you're not paying for a product. It's just an extra little bit of thank you. Honestly, I feel like all of us as broadcasters, especially full-time broadcasters, can't thank our communities enough. Like, I could say thank you every breath I take for the rest of my life, and it would not be enough, to even really begin to truly say thank you. So it's just a small thing that we can do,
Now, Tess mentioned something earlier about the alerts being wonky. Now, the whole change that happened at the same time as this, and I don't know how related it is, but the fact that people sub and now have to refresh and share their sub in order for it to pop up, and now they can include a message, which is new on a new sub. But is that related to all this, or they just kind of wrote that in at the same time?
It's related, and it's fixed. It's semi-fixed. So
yeah, they did some sort of hotfix recently.
Yeah, basically that was happening. Basically, there's two things that come up in the Twitch API right now. I think, as far as I understand it, there's two things that come up in the Twitch API. Like, one is the original notification in chat, and then the second thing is the purple bar on top of chat that says share my sub.
Yeah.
And then, so Streamlabs originally and all of the alert systems used to read the one that was the first notification in chat. And now they're reading the second one. People no longer have to refresh for the second one to come up. Like, as soon as they sub, they no longer have to refresh, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they no longer have to refresh to be able to use their emotes, and they no longer have to refresh to get that purple bar, but that original notification still comes up. That will go away soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully they change it, because that's driving me nuts.
Yeah, they said that they're getting rid of that initial. Like, it spoils the surprise. It's like,
It does.
Thingy subbed? What? You're spoiling it.
It's like, I'm sorry, I can't type my message fast enough.
Yeah, like some of the subs, like, it's just like, I'm not even noticing. I'm just going around playing, and then like I look over and there's just a wall of emotes, like, so, and I'm like, what did I miss? And like everybody's like, I'm in the dark. I have no idea what's going on. What happened? Somebody tell me.
Yeah, they're gonna fix that initial spoil the surprise bit, hopefully.
Okay. But I'm good.
Yeah, really good points overall. So we have a couple really good questions I want to address from viewers. There's actually one here from Cora. So with all these, it kind of relates to what we're talking about. With all these new and improved ways of high tier subs or cheering for affiliates, does anyone think that because of these things, streamers feel like they have to owe more? Owe being the word in quotes here, to their audience in terms of like doing more streams or doing more incentive stuff and just kind of rewarding the community more for this extra support. Do you feel like this puts any pressure on you as a streamer?
I mean, I think it can put pressure on us, but I mean, it shouldn't. I feel like they shouldn't initially have that feeling. I feel like there is kind of a need to provide a little bit more, but the thing is, in turn, I don't know if we necessarily should. The guilt's definitely there to like that pressure to kind of feel like maybe we should do this or maybe we should do that, or like for certain things maybe we should add something else. Like for subs, I have sub movie night, and I do that kind of as an extra thank you for subscribing. And I think maybe people are thinking with the higher tiers, maybe that should apply to the higher tiers as well. And I don't know. It's a hard one, that.
I think one of the biggest, just again, observing, this is not a system that I am in, courtesy of being an affiliate, but just looking at from the outside, my biggest thing is, well, it depends on the parameters you set. If you set an expectation of, yeah, you pay more, you get more, even if it's just, more thank yous or something like that, well, I mean, yeah, that's going to happen. But on the flip side, if that's not how you operate, if that's not the culture you create, then somebody might demand it, sure, and the guilt's there and feeling bad about it. On the other hand, why care? If someone's demanding something that you never promised or even inferred in the first place, why get bent out of shape about it?
Good points. Anyone else have anything to add to that question? In terms of feeling any kind of guilt or pressure or anything of that nature?
And I feel like that's something that's always there for Brian. At least that's always there for me, no matter what systems of support people are currently using or not using. Just the fact that I'm able to continue doing this full time, I feel like if I'm not constantly coming up with ways to do more for the community and cool things for the community and trying to do more for the community, I'm not doing my job well or correctly or something. I mean, I always feel like I could be doing more and I could be improving. And I'm always trying to be doing more and trying to improve, regardless of, the particulars. Because, I mean, honestly, the support from the very beginning, any amount of support, just watching and hanging out in my stream every day, like that means so much to me. People doing that's what keeps me doing this. That's what keeps me doing this financially, but also just in terms of my desire to keep doing it. I don't play video games on my own anymore. I miss the community. If I'm playing a game, I'm streaming, because I miss you guys. It feels weird to play a game without you guys. So I want that to always be a thing. That's what makes it fun for me, is you guys. And so anything that I can do to make you guys have more fun means I'm having more fun. I feel like that's always there, regardless of this change or how much people are supporting, because it's always support no matter what they're doing.
Good points. Let's move on to this next question here then. So do you guys have any criticisms of the sub-tier system, like so far, based on your own experience? Just anything you feel that needs changing, or just improvements? Or what about communication from Twitch's side, publicly or to us as partners, etc.? Things like that.
I don't know. It might have been. This was some of the feedback in the beginning, and I know they don't want to overcomplicate things, and they can always change. But besides the things that we've already mentioned, it seems a little interesting to have the $4.99 tier, the $9.99 tier, and the next tier up is $24.99. I know there's been some talk of people having something a little bit more in the middle there. not saying we need like a whole bunch of tiers, right? 6, 7, 8 tiers. How many tiers can you get? But I think maybe some more options. People like options like that. So I don't know where they are with feedback or metrics on that. They probably have a whole bunch of stats they can pour over to make decisions like that are better off than my judge. But I've definitely heard that feedback before, that it seems.
I feel like 2 is good to start.
Yeah.
I feel like any more would have been probably overwhelming. There was already so much sort of uproar about this change. I think it's a great change, but it's like a culture shock almost, you know.
What if Twitch changed that $24.99 tier and made it like smaller or lower?
I mean, I don't think they should take away something they already gave us, right? Or gave the community. That would be silly. I think it would be maybe nice to have a $15 tier, but I think 10 and 25 are good amounts, because 25 gives you that extra point, right? And let's be honest here, the people that are going to sub at 25 are doing it not for whatever special emote, and the people that are subbing at 25 are people that have the funds and just want to do something more for the stream. They want to help support the community. They really love the community. They just want to do something more to get that caster to a higher sub point count so that they can unlock an emote. They might do it for a month instead of, would it be nice if there was an extra tier in between those two? Yes, in between 10 and 25. Maybe a $15 tier could be nice, but I think 2 to start was good, and I don't think I think because there's a 10, like if it was just $5 and $25, that would be really weird. But having the $10 one and the $15 one, I think is good. I think it would be nice if the $10 one gave you an extra sub point.
Right. Yeah.
Or if they had the if they had a $15 one, if they gave you 4 sub points.
Yeah.
One thing you do want to be careful of is giving options are great, but you don't want to give people, too many. Otherwise, they're going to be like, oh God, so many tiers. What do I do? Initially, I mean, adding more is maybe, I think the smart thing to do is go with the initial 3. And this is completely anecdotal, but for what it's worth, 10 and 25 to me seem completely logical. When I did things on GameList, when I initially put up 3 tiers, this was long before their system came out. I did 5, 10, 25. So again, completely anecdotal. Other people would have taken other things, but to me, those make sense. I do think it would be interesting. I know we had a question earlier asking if we think that Twitch may add additional tiers. I think I don't see necessarily like a one that's obvious, but I guess what we'll see is if one continues to come up, if there's a particular number, higher, maybe like 50 or something, or 15, somewhere in between. I think it's quite possible that Twitch may add 1 or 2, depending on if it makes sense and if the community clearly wants it.
Yeah. I've just thought of another thing that I think could be improved upon, or maybe it's in the works. Differentiating between the subs. You get your subscriber. If you didn't know, you can go on your dashboard and you can get your subscribers emailed to you. I don't know who is $9.99 and who is $25. I would love to have that shown. I would love to just know who is who. Not in the chat, not for a badge or anything, just for in that dashboard when you get emailed your subscribers, just a little section to show you who's who's subscribing at $9.99, who's subscribing at $25.99, just to keep track of it.
I haven't
right,
checked
because
this. I didn't know they didn't do that. They don't actually
because the
differentiate?
caster could have their own reasons for wanting to know who's what. I mean, maybe for whatever reason, like, giveaways or categorization, like something either public or private, having access to that information for whatever reason would be really, really good.
Yes. Yeah.
In a really convenient form. I mean, obviously I'm not a partner, so I don't know exactly what systems do or do not exist. But the ability to have, know how many subs you have, who they are, and at what level, right at a glance, that would be fantastic. Give the streamer as much info as possible.
We have the at a glance for everything else except for the new tiers. But like I said, that could be in the works. They've only just released this. they're probably working on the fact that they're going to show us who is who, probably privately, not publicly. But I would like that to come out if it's not in the works already.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. I didn't even think about that because I haven't pulled up my sub list, the spreadsheet since, so I have no idea.
It
Well, as
tells
I
you
recall-
how many you
Oh, sorry.
have. Oh, sorry.
No. I was about to say, as I recall, in the blog post when they talked about, I think it was either the tiers. No, I think it might have been the affiliate thing. They said more tools for partner streamers to manage their community are coming. Maybe that's part of it. We'll see.
Right now, they tell us how many subs we have at each tier. They just don't tell us who those subs are.
Yeah.
I sort of remember most of them, but that's going to eventually get impossible to keep track of. So, it would be nice. It would be nice if you wanted to give like an extra benefit besides the email, like an extra thank you of some kind. I don't know what that could be, but it would be nice. It would be nice to have that. I'm not super unhappy that we don't right now, because I feel like, again, that would spark some of the treating people differently thing. But I mean, if there was a way to say thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the fact that having it there, who's done it, maybe that would trigger some streamers to treat people differently. That's maybe why they haven't done it yet. I didn't think about that.
I mean, I think it would be nice still, because we could find other ways to say thank you beyond that one emote, right?
Yeah.
Right. And see, the thing is, if you stop adding a feature because you're afraid somebody might abuse it, in my opinion, one person's opinion, you're looking at the wrong thing. People will abuse any system that you put out there. People are going to abuse the tier system. If there's something that, is going to be flagrantly abused and there's not really a good purpose behind it, sure. But if you're talking about a tool that could be incredibly useful to a lot of streamers and some could abuse it, to me, that's not a good enough reason to not put the feature out, because it's not on Twitch to decide we do this. It's not Twitch's job to worry about can someone abuse this tool per se. That's per community, that's per streamer.
Well, let me ask this question of the panel. It is offering perks, not necessarily not preferential treatment, right? Not like anything like that, but perks for subs or tiered subs. Is that favoritism? And the reason I say that is because I treat everybody, just like everybody in the Chillest, we treat everybody, viewers, lurkers, and different various support levels, the same. I'll answer any questions, interact, I play games. But I do also, it is a business. Most of us will include some sort of perk, right? Whether, it's a sub day where you play games, or like movie night, like Starlet said, for subscribing. And I talked about Patreon before. There's actually a tiered system in Patreon, right? You pledge this level, here's the rewards you get. That's how the whole site is structured. So I have that tiered system, and the higher the tier, the different rewards you get. I try to structure it so that there's no sort of favoritism in there, right? And I think I do my best. I've not had any complaints from anyone in my community on how I treat subscribers and viewers and all that kind of stuff. So I feel really comfortable with that. But there are perks. So what do you guys feel about that? Or if somebody offered perks for those higher tier subs, does that immediately put you into that favoritism category?
I guess it depends on, it's a tough question. My initial response is it's on a case-by-case basis. I think the biggest differentiating factor is, are we talking about rewards or treatment? If we're talking about how people who give you more money are treated better, they're treated superior, more importantly, people who don't pay as much are treated worse, that's a problem. And that, I think, when people were raising questions about favoritism with the sub tiers, I honestly think that that's the biggest concern people had. Not whether there's more of like a Patreon-esque system, where if you pay more, you get some additional piece of content or some sort of good, I guess, back. So that's, I think, what it comes into. The biggest, per community and per caster, you'd have to decide what you're most comfortable with. But I think the biggest differentiating factor that is initially going to stick with most people looking at your community is, whether or not it has to deal with how you treat people differently, or whether you simply get an additional benefit because you paid more. I think most people understand the latter. I think most people understand, yeah, if you pay more, it makes sense that you might actually get something additional.
Yeah.
I think you made a really, really, really good point in terms of the difference of how you're treated, how everyone is treated, right? And the perks that you get as a thank you, right? There's a huge difference between those two things.
Yep.
I personally do everything, and I know that every single caster on this team and all of the teams, honestly, any caster worth their salt is treating all of their viewers the same. Doesn't matter if they're a donor, doesn't matter if they're a sub, doesn't matter if they're higher sub, tier sub, it's all the same. If they're a follower, if they're a viewer, right? I mean, every sub or donor at any tier, at any amount, was originally just a person that came in and watched the stream, right? And that person came in and watched the stream because all of the other people were in there watching the stream, right? And they maybe were welcomed by someone when they first came into the stream. Maybe the caster, maybe a mod, maybe another viewer that isn't a sub or whatever, you know? That's always really nice to see. You know, one way you can help a streamer that you love is by retweeting, by watching, by donating your time. All of these things help, all of these things matter, and all of those things are incredibly valuable, and all of the people are incredibly valuable. Honestly, that's what makes a community. Twitch is all about communities, and the people are the ones that make that community exist. And so if you treat members of your community differently from each other based on support, that's gonna do things to your community that you might not like. And so none of us do that. Whether or not, you know, having like different perks or benefits to subscribing at a higher tier would be nice as a way to say thank you to the people that are choosing to do that extra bit of support, are able to do that extra bit of support. Because that's the other thing. Don't ever donate or use bits or sub at any tier to a streamer if that's going to hurt you financially. None of us wants that. All of us want you guys to be happy and healthy and have games to play and have pets to snuggle. And then if you have extra and you want to choose to use that to support our streams, that's amazing. And so if those people are choosing to do that, to spend their extra funds to help support our casts, our lives, of course we want to say thank you. And so it would be nice to be able to give those people better perks. You know, we'd have to find a way to keep track, because the only tool that Twitch gives us currently is the emote, right? So it would definitely be nice. I think now that I think about it more, it would be nice to be able to tell who, at least through the API, to be able to tell who is subbed at what tier, so that we could use different tools. You know, some of our bots could give those people a command in chat that could trigger something, you know, either a sound or an alert, or who knows. There's so many different things that streamers can come up with to do with that. The cool thing about Twitch is that they're definitely doing more to give us more tools. And the more tools we have, the more cool stuff we can come up with. You know, most streamers, even if they're not creative category streamers, are creative people, right? And they work with a lot of creative category streamers. And you know, Twitch has definitely, you know, especially recently, has been like, here's 50 things, go, as one of my mods said. And it's a little overwhelming, but it's also wonderful because we get all these cool tools to play with, and we could do so much with that. So the more tools, the merrier, I say.
Yeah. And I agree. I think the rewards are fine. I think a lot of people who do sub on the higher tiers appreciate them and see them as what they are, as a thank you, and not a behavioral difference, just as a reward, just to say, hey, you're supporting me as much as you can, and I really appreciate that. And here's an extra little reward to say thank you for that. I think it's good. I think as long as you treat it as that, then it's perfectly fine.
I think another thing to keep in mind too is that because Bog was asking, you know, what about giving more perks at higher tiers? And actually we've discussed this before, him and myself, but can the streamer handle it? Like if you want to add more perks, you know, you're already a busy person, right? Do you want to do something for those extra, like, this is going off of my experience when I used to have a game list where I was like, if you sub at this certain tier on game list, I'm going to send you a monthly postcard to say thank you. Yeah, that didn't work out. That didn't work out. So even if it's a simple postcard, right? How hard can it be? But I couldn't do it.
Every month, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. And you guys can relate to that, right? Where if you do something like that every month, you're adding more work to yourself.
I've
Shipping
revamped
stuff is really hard too. It's
It
really
is.
complicated because you have to reveal your identity also, which to protect that is important to a lot of us. And so it gets really, really complicated really, really quickly. And I mean, there's definitely other ways. You don't have to reveal your identity. You don't have to ship stuff. But it gets, I think people don't realize how much energy streaming takes, especially at the level that we all do it at as full-time casters. It's not just like think about any job that you do for 8 hours a day. Maybe you take a lunch. Most of us maybe stream for 5 to 8 hours, but that's like pretty much being on and having the energy to be engaging and be entertaining and not just playing a game, but talking, basically doing an ad-lib talk show for that amount of time. That takes a lot out of us. It really does. And then beyond that, outside of the stream, we're all constantly doing all of our own production, audio, video, graphics, networking, learning about games and different things to show you guys, always trying to innovate and work on stuff outside the stream to make the community better, to help the community. There's so many things and there's not enough time in the day. There's really not. And you always want to be casting as much as you can as well to be there for your community. And so it's just, there's a limit to how much people can handle. Physically and mentally and financially. And so you really, if you're going to set up perks for people, they have to be something that you can manage to do.
There's a reason why I'm on my fourth revamp of Patreon rewards. Because I started out one way, I'll do this, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't do this anymore.
That's why I don't have one yet. That's the whole reason. I've been thinking about one.
Yeah, if you need advice, let me know, because I'll tell you the pitfalls that I fell into.
Thank you. Yeah, I actually love to pick your brain, Bug. I've talked to a lot of people already about it, and every time I I have all these ideas, but then I have to sit there and think about the ideas and whether or not they're realistic. And I've been thinking about it for a year. Someday I'll do it. I don't want to do it half-assed. I have to figure it all out and make sure that it's going to be manageable for me. To maintain, because I don't ever want to promise someone something that I can't deliver on. That would make me feel awful. So.
Yeah, your comment, Tess, about people don't understand how much it goes into a cast, and the first thought in my head was, especially the streamer, him or herself. I was like, you don't realize until, I mean, you think before you jump into it, and we've all been there at some point at some level. Is I could totally do that, and then you do the casting and then try to do this extra thing. You're like, oh god, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
It takes a lot. Yeah, your improvisational lights in your face, screen flashing, interacting. There's a lot that goes into it. And it can be really exhausting. And then you have to try to take care of yourself outside of that.
But would you guys rather Twitch gave us the option to, tools to help us communicate if we wanted to do higher, tier perks and stuff like that? Would you prefer that Twitch gave us the option and the tools for that, even if we don't actually use them?
Yes.
100%.
I mean,
yes. Yes.
I think it would be great if they included it in the API, because there are so many things that we could do, right, that don't involve sending a postcard and doing all of that. There's so many things they could do. They already have the different in the Twitch app, right, which is basically like Discord. They already have different the Twitch app can recognize the higher tier subs, and they can have different roles, and those roles can be assigned a separate room or whatever. I don't know if I would necessarily even do that, but having a way, which I'm pretty sure this is coming. I don't know for sure, but I'm fairly certain this is coming at some point. It should be in the API, right? If it's in the API, they could get maybe a special alert, right? Just a simple of a thing as a special alert when they upgrade, right? Or when they renew at a higher tier, a special GIF or a special sound when they hit their share button. Hey, I'm a 25, whatever sub. Thank you so much. Here's a special thank you GIF, that I would come up with and make, and absolutely, that would be fantastic. Different things like, if our bots could give them, like those of us that have point systems, right? Our bots could give them extra points automatically to do different things with whatever kind of rewards you have for your point through your point system. They could be awarded, a command or the ability to make the streamer, do something like, I don't know, go pet their cat. I don't know. There's so many different things like, oh, you resubbed at $25. Go pet your cat, Snowlit. Go snuggle fade on camera.
She's in my
You gotta
lap,
do it.
actually.
Right. It's so hard. There's so many fun things you could do with it. That's the thing. I think that the streamer has to be responsible and know what they're capable of handling. And that's hard, especially when you're a newer streamer. Some of us are kind of old hats, so we've learned, but even so, we still take on too much a lot of the time. Because all of us as streamers want to do more for our communities all the time. I always feel like I want to do more, and I realize my limits to a point, but I always push them. And I think a lot of people, a lot of broadcasters are like that. They're really devoted to their communities. I know everyone on this team is really, 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 really devoted to their communities. So
yeah, the three sources of information that I would imagine, if I was a partner, I would want would be number one, well, how many subs, obviously, what tier they're at, if there's a streak, what the streak is, and also how long they've been subbed, irregardless of the streak. Like they subbed a few months before, then took a break and then came back. That's three sources of information I think would be great to just have access to and then decide what to do with.
With what you were saying, Tess, with the GIFs and stuff, the different GIFs, I think Twitch mainly look to the other sites for that sort of thing. Twitch Alerts already has implemented the fact that if you sub on second tier, you can put a different GIF up and a different sound, same as $24.99. A different GIF pops up and a different sound pops up. That's already a feature on Twitch Alerts.
I had no idea.
Get with the program.
I've been living under a rock.
So I think for that sort of stuff, Twitch looks to the other programs for that, as well as your bot. I think they look to the bot to upgrade their settings for that. But things like, if you guys have heard of Revlo, where you have a certain amount of points and then you get perks from having that certain amount of points, it'd be nice to see if Twitch could implement something similar to the Revlo sort of thing, like points equals perks, and they Revlo do the perks for you, making your job a hell of a lot easier. Yeah.
Really good points. Really good points. So can we move on to asking about the emote changes specifically? I want to talk about those. So for anyone who doesn't know, with the new sub-tier system, Twitch has also gone and revamped the emote tiers as well. So previously there were maybe like 15 total tiers, and now there's nearly 50. There's like 48 total tiers. And as a result, a lot of the streamers, when this whole beta launched for the subsystem, at their current sub counts, a lot of streamers could add already 5 extra emotes, so all of a sudden, and so it was a huge change for a lot of partners. And emotes are probably the most tangible thing when it comes to subscribing to somebody, right, or being a partner. And I just kind of want to ask how you guys feel about these changes. Do you feel like this giant sudden influx of 1 billion emotes everywhere is a good or bad thing, or just overall, how has your community taken it, etc.?
Well, besides playing perpetual catch up, because I got seven new emotes unlocked. I've gotten 4 done. I still got 3. I've since unlocked a 4th, and I still haven't done my premium tier ones. It's all like in the pipeline. But besides being behind, I love it because I hit 250 subs to unlock emotes a year ago, and I went a whole year without reaching the next level, which was 500. Right? I still haven't hit 500, and I was working towards like trying to get up there. And it's too much of a gap to actually, to try to get your community to double the subs in order to unlock any new emotes. And then you get 5. I love it so much better that it's a gradual thing that, every 50 or so you get another emote. And it's great for goal setting, and the community seems to really love all the new emotes. And I'm excited to get them all in place. So that was without a doubt universally applauded change. And like Tess mentioned earlier, they permanently unlock now, so you don't have to worry about falling back down and stuff like that. So thumbs up on this. That was hugely, sorely needed, and it's awesome.
I don't think anybody was prepared for how many emotes were going to come. I mean, all of a sudden, streamers and emote artists were like, wait, oh God, this has never moved this fast. What's happening?
Yeah, definitely.
And God bless the emote team at Twitch for, I don't know just how slammed they would have had to have been, but they were absolute all-stars getting slammed with that.
Yeah, those guys are heroes. They're superheroes. Because I don't think a lot of them knew exactly what was. I think they had some idea, but I don't think they really knew what was happening. And it's a lot.
I think they tried to mitigate it at first by saying like, "Hey, you can go ahead and upload your tiered emotes." I think they tried to mitigate that. I don't think that worked out as they expected.
No.
Because they still got overwhelmed.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm 6 emotes behind still. I need to catch up. The only thing that I think some people were concerned about, which I don't think is necessarily needed to be concerned about, is how some streamers have worked so hard to get to those emote tiers, and now people are just like whizzing up to those emote tiers. But to be honest, I don't think that's a concern, because people who have worked so hard to get to those tiers, they'll just be unlocking even more emotes now. They're going to be rewarded as well. So everyone's really rewarded with this system.
Yeah, every single person got boosted, almost wherever you were sitting. If more people behind you got emotes, well, suddenly, well, great, you've got 5 more beyond that. So, I mean, to me, everyone suddenly got more. It seemed like every single person, regardless of where they were on the sub count ladder, got something.
Yeah.
Really good overall. Well, in that same vein then, with the emote tier revamps, so overall, the idea is that yes, this has been a good change and a much needed change, for the past, I don't know how many ever years. But Twitch is also planning to release a self-service emote tool where partners can handle their own emotes and get it approved and live fast without like having to have a staff approve it. And how do you guys feel about that? Is there any concern, any apprehension, etc. with that kind of a tool coming out? Because there has been concerns, in my opinion, about emote theft or copying or things like that.
There's that. There's also the question of, well, if staff isn't verifying it, then how do we know it, fits, passes muster? Although I think the short answer is, well, they may not check it initially. You could, just because it gets approved doesn't mean you can't actually check it and say, hey, you can't actually use this. It requires a change, but the what's the word I'm looking for? The curation can still happen, just at a different step in the process.
Yeah, they should, instead of having to approve it, they still should go in a queue to be reviewed by Twitch staff. And yeah, maybe you have a stream or two where an inappropriate emote is active. But I think for the most part, we care about, broadcasters, this is our livelihood. We don't want to be in trouble. The vast majority of us won't want to, risk anything like that. I think it's a great change, because often what I want to do is I want to surprise my stream with emotes, right? I want, when they go live, I want to be there the first time people notice it. And I feel like the current system, it's almost impossible to do that, because I submit them, I don't know when it's going to go live, and almost always I'm offline like 12 hours away from my next stream, and people are already using it in my chat, and I'm like, man, I really wish we just have this like unveiling kind of thing where we all share it together. But so that we'll be able to do that once that system's in place. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, I think like seasonal emotes, I think maybe it was Tess or Bog, one of you tore that up. I think that's a great idea. Like, and
I want to do that so badly.
Yeah, that is seriously cool. You can do more just fun flavor things without having to wait, for half a day to try to plan it.
And it's a very true thing where if you don't do something, or you take something away a tool or something like that because of fear of it being abused, who are you really helping? I think the truth is that happens now. People steal emotes now because there are tools out there that allow you to just grab people's emotes, and it's relatively easy to do. And people do it. And here's the thing. If you are the first person to upload your emote and it fits your channel and your community knows it and you've been talking about it forever and ever and ever, and then someone else, if your community is widespread enough, they will eventually find that person and tell you. They'll be like, "What the French toast? I found this emote. I found your emote somewhere else, and I know it's your emote." We all have very distinct personalities and very distinct emotes. It's not like our emotes look like everyone else's. Nobody else has a gingy butt emote or a snowy burrito or there's so many things. There's so many amazing emotes that all of us have, and they all fit our personalities very well. Nobody has like the same emotes that Starlet or Bogotter or any of us have. And so if our emote is stolen, quote unquote, someone will eventually find that out and tell us. And then you can always report that person is the thing, So there's the rule with the system is that you can only upload and delete emotes freely and use the self-serve system if you haven't had any marks against you in the last 3 months. So if you screw that up, that's on you.
Yeah,
Well,
another thing that I want to mention real quick about that is that according to Hassan, a Twitch staff, he mentioned that if anybody does, if they're using the self-service emote tool and they get a strike against them where they, got convicted of, or not convicted, but allegedly, stole emotes, etc., they get put back on manual Twitch staff approval for emotes for 90 days.
That's
So
great. That's awesome.
Good.
There's also that.
Because generally speaking, if you're concerned about things like theft or abuse of a system, the answer is, instead of not giving a tool that could be abused, you do two things. Number one is you actually engage in, punishment of people that break the rules. Give the motivation to, follow the rules, guys. And the second thing is you create additional tools that help you find people that are, and I don't know exactly, what you would do, but in the case of, emote theft, put in a system that could be abused, but then find tools to help people find emote theft. Build additional tools and resources to find people who are stealing or breaking rules, and then reprimand them for that. Don't take a tool away that would be useful to the vast majority of streamers because somebody else can use it maliciously. Generally speaking.
Very good points. I want to say BTTV actually has an emote recognition, what's the word? Software or technology or something where they don't allow you to upload anything that, for one, they don't allow you to upload anything that's already a partnered emote. Mm-hmm. But Starlet, do you know?
I mean, I went for a better TTV emote with one of my streamer friends, Coconut Flake. We wanted to combine one of our emotes together. So I have a nailed it and she has a snail and we wanted snailed it. So we put the two emotes together and we put it up on Better TTV, and immediately they flagged it and said, no, you can't have this emote unless you have this other person's permission to use this and combine this emote. So we needed video consent before they would let us combine the emote and use it on people's channels as a Better TTV emote. So they've got it well done.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I don't know how easy it is for Twitch to implement something like that on their scale, because I'm sure it's not as widespread for BTTV or as big scale-wise. But I think some kind of tool or technology on Twitch's end to make it harder for emote theft to happen.
Yeah, because I mean, with Better TTV, they had no way of knowing that was her emote. Because it wasn't uploaded. Mine wasn't uploaded to Better TTV, and nor was hers. So somehow someone knew that those two emotes were taken by two channels. So there was some sort of recognition system going on there.
Well, I would imagine that that would be fairly easy to automate. Just compare artwork. If something seems a little bit too similar, send up a flag. Something like that. I mean, you can have a system that's, more or less refined, but it wouldn't be, in theory, I would imagine it wouldn't be that hard to have a system, and maybe this is exactly what BTTV has. An automated process that compares artwork in the database. And if something is way too similar, it sets off a flag somewhere in the system, brings up, hey, it may be okay, but at least there's an alert going out to you somewhere.
Cool. Very good stuff. Anything else to add about emotes before we take our 5-minute break?
I love emotes.
Emotes are so good. So guys, we are going to implement a 5-minute break here for everyone on the show. When we come back, we will be addressing and moving on to affiliates, Twitch's new affiliate program. And we'll be discussing that as well as some questions that you guys have submitted to ask all of us. So we'll be back in 5 minutes, guys. Don't go anywhere. Feel free to get up, stretch, take a break, grab a drink, grab a snack, use the bathroom, all that good stuff, and be back here in 5 minutes, team. And I'll see you guys very soon. BRB.
that. Don't do that.
All right, break time's over. Let's return back to our regularly scheduled programming. Hyperino, welcome back, everybody. Hope you guys all had a good 5-minute break. And all that good
It was the
stuff.
best.
It was the best.
It was amazing. I sat here the whole time.
I ate a banana. That was good. Anyway, so moving on. So, anything else to add on the whole sub-tier system before we move on? The emotes, the sub-tier, that kind of deal before we go to the affiliates program.
I have one thing I did actually think of. I just wanted to share my way of dealing with the sub-tier emotes. This was not my original idea. I heard another streamer was using it from one of my mods, and I thought it was a great idea. So I'm going to borrow this tip. But basically, what I'm going to be doing is for the sub tiers, they're going to be moving down a notch for every single new emote slot we get. So basically, when we get a new emote slot, whoever the sub $24.99, $10.99, and normal sub tiers, they'll be moving down. So the top one will go to $9.99, and the $10.99 will be available for everybody. So then everyone on the tiers gets a new emote every time we unlock a new emote slot.
Yeah.
So I thought that was.
It's like early access emotes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was going
I was going to do that. I sort of originally was planning on doing that, and then people loved the different colored hearts so much that I thought better of it, but now I'm kind of wondering if maybe I should do that still. I don't know.
Yeah, I've
That's a good
seen
question.
really the emotes used in two different ways on the tiers. One is what Sarah's is talking about, an early access sort of system. Personally, I think that's a really great idea for a couple of reasons. One, it shows the community what you're thinking about. People can get hyped and say, hey, you can either get the emote now, or you can, help support the channel, and, eventually it'll be made general. And it also does give people who, pay for those extra tiers something special for the moment. It may, change the cycle out. I personally really like that. The other way is they've added, kind of special emotes that are maybe a variation on a theme of their current one. That's kind of like Tess's hearts, the different colors. That's another fun one. Other people have just done, like golden versions of one of their current emotes. It's things like that. But I think the early access one sort of idea is, I've seen it a number of places. I think it's a really interesting way to approach it.
Yeah, and it's not just that. I feel like it gives all the subs more incentive, because normal subs get a brand new emote, $10.99 get a brand new emote, and $9.99 and $24.99 get a brand new emote. So it's encouraging the 10 and the 24 to help push more as well. Whereas with the normal system, $9.99 and $24.99, they're getting a new emote, but they're not getting like a private emote for themselves. So it's kind of different. So I thought that was a good idea. Yeah.
I think actually Spoonie is doing that right
Yeah,
now with hers.
I'm going to do that once the emotes are made. But
Once they're made. Yeah.
once they're made.
Good stuff. So then now we're moving along, changing the pace a little bit, changing the topic. We're going to go talk about now the affiliates program. So for anybody out there who doesn't know, Twitch has also launched around the same time that they launched these new sub-tiers, the new affiliates program, which is a new program that provides official Twitch monetization options to non-partners. Right now, this program allows members to have bits and cheering enabled on their channels, and the plan is later to allow affiliates to have subscription buttons as well as one sub-emote slot. The program is right now invite only from Twitch, so there is no application process. And the base guidelines are as follows. Twitch affiliates have to have at least 500 total minutes broadcast within the last 30 days. They have to have at least 7 unique broadcast days in the last 30 days. They have to have an average concurrent view count of 3 or more viewers over the last 30 days. And they must have at least 50 followers. So what is everyone's overall opinion of this program? Since it was released, since it was announced, launched, etc. General impressions.
I'm going to let everyone else go first before I give my thoughts.
Well, I guess I'll start. I mean, I think it's a great thing overall. Like, it's initially it was kind of vaguely pitched before Twitch ever announced it. It was vaguely pitched in the like Twitch partner grapevine of sorts about, you know, what if monetization options were given to non-partners. So there was some concern, like just based off of other partners that I don't know who just kind of talked about it and being like, but what about, you know, those of us that worked hard to get our sub buttons and blah blah blah. And I thought it definitely, I can understand both sides of it as far as the concern goes for you know, some partners in general feeling like Twitch making this step somehow undermines the work they put in. I don't know how. I mean, I can sort of see their viewpoint, but at the same time I'm like, did you guys not know that way back when the guidelines for being partner was at least 500 concurrent viewers? Guaranteed most of the partners nowadays didn't have 500 plus concurrents when they got partnership, right? So it's just one of those things shift, you know, it's the overall, you know, guidelines, criteria, all of that shifts over time, and it's meant to happen, you know, and people feeling like this affiliate program seems to somehow undermine the work they put into their channels to get partnership, etc. Made no sense to me in some ways. And then of course now that, you know, when Twitch announced it and had that whole blog post, I felt like I felt great about it because I was like, hey, they clearly outlined the differences, right, between affiliates and partners. So there was a lot of like, what if somebody's confused and being all like, oh, you got a sub button, you're a partner, but then they're like, no, I'm actually an affiliate, and etc. There was that, you know, what if there's that confusion? But Twitch has clearly outlined the differences, and I feel like that helps, that communication helps alleviate some of the concerns. So
I think the way people should view it as, it's more of a stepping stone onto partnership. It's more of, that's your first step, and then your ultimate goal will always be partnership. Even with the affiliate program, you're always going to go for the partnership instead of just sticking with the affiliate program. And I think some people were concerned because they didn't view it as a stepping stone. They viewed it as a competitor of being partnered, which is just silly in my opinion. I don't think it's anything like partnership. I think when they introduce the emote, I don't know how they're going to do that or how they're going to implement it. We haven't had many details about it. I think that will change things a little bit, but right now I think it's really good. I think it's a great thing. It encourages more people to start streaming on the site. It gives people who have been streaming for years on the site, who haven't managed to get to that partnership yet, it gives them more incentive to keep pushing for that partnership, because they get more revenue from the adverts now. And they also have cheers where people can just cheer and support them in that way, as well as just normal donations that everyone has on there anyway. But they get the ad revenue, they have cheers now. It gives them an extra drive to go for that partnership. And I think it's great.
Yeah, it also allows people to be more creative or more niche or niche, or depending on how you say it, right? Because not every type of streamer is going to get critical mass, right? And it used to be that unless you can get your, you know, viewership and audience level to a certain threshold, there was not many tools to kind of help you keep doing that or encourage you to keep doing that. And I love the fact that there are now so many streamers, you know, like Starlet said, that have been streaming for years. They treat it very seriously. They dedicate as much time, you know, as the partners do, and they just might be doing something that's a little bit niche or a little bit specific. And I love that there's now an avenue for them to you know, garner support, you know, directly from Twitch as a result of that. It's been something that people have been asking for a long time, for Twitch to be able to somehow have some sort of tools and outreach and support for smaller streamers. And I think it's an amazing program. I really, really do.
Good. Tess, anything to add?
I mean, I think it's fantastic for people trying to take it beyond a hobby. And I think it's fantastic for Twitch because it helps Twitch continue to monetize and continue to support all of the things that all of us do, partners and affiliates and fledgling streamers and viewers, all of us as a community. And the other thing is, I think that the systems that they had previously, whether it was 500 concurrents or 100 concurrents or whatever, all of those systems were very subjective. And that's not to say that it won't remain to a degree subjective. There are always going to be exceptions. There's always going to be someone that gets noticed and Twitch staff is like, oh, this is awesome. We need to we need to get this person to a point where they take this more seriously and want to devote more time to Twitch because it'll help everyone, right? But I think that previously Twitch staff had a more difficult time judging a channel, even if they spent time in the channel. Like, there are so many things that go into, like, if they judge it by concurrence, there are so many things that affect that, right? That affect even the graph that Twitch sees. I know this happened to a friend of mine that's a really awesome streamer and usually has like 100 people in her stream, right? For like a week, or not a week, I think like 3 or 4 days, I think she had some sort of internet issue, which that is something that is outside of a streamer's control. That is something all of us struggle with, right? Especially people that are kind of fledgling or at the level of affiliateship that might want to be going for partnership soon, or are starting to go for partnership, or are going for partnership, right? That's just something that could really affect you, because her stream literally normally had 100 people, and over 2 days, she kept dropping and coming back up online. And so her concurrence, her graph was all out of whack, right? And she happened to apply for partnership like the week before. And so she got denied, like flat out denied, because they said, well, your concurrents aren't high enough. But that was because of the internet issue, and so I think that it's, she later got partnered and it was fine, but it's just one of those things that I feel like it's hard. It's hard for Twitch. There are 18,000 partners. I think there's maybe 500 staff members at Twitch. Maybe it's more now, but it used to be much lower than that. And they're always adding people and they're trying to grow and all of that. But think about that. Even if there's 1,000, which I don't even think it's that high yet, I don't think there's more than 1,000 Twitch staff members, right? There are 18,000 partners right now. There are something like 1.5, close to 2 million broadcasters. That is an epic job, for them to sort of follow each person and try and figure out where they're at with their stream, whether or not they're someone that's really investing their time and their effort, and the community has grown to a point where they're ready for partnership. There are a lot of streamers that get partnered and then they kind of drop off. They're like, oh, okay, I'm good now. And either the partner thinks that they're set now and they stop putting in as much effort, or the community thinks that they're set now, or I don't know what it is, but some partners really struggle when they become partnered because they don't realize that is just the beginning. Getting partnered, as much as it's a long-term goal for a lot of people, it's really just the beginning. Like the push, the effort, the desire for growth, the desire to always be innovating and helping and making your stream and your content better for your community and always be doing more, that doesn't stop at partnership. That only increases.
Do you feel like, just let me interject here, do you feel like that concern is also applying to people who suddenly they're like, oh, I'm affiliate now, I'm going to quit my job and put everything into this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I mean, I think that affiliateship gives people, gives Twitch a better way to judge. They're going to have much better metrics, right? They're going to take that person more seriously. They're going to hopefully give that person incentive to take Twitch and streaming more seriously, which is good all around. But it's also going to give them much better metrics and a legitimate way to judge, because that person is going to have subs for that one emote, right? They're going to have subscribers that want that one emote and buy that number of subscribers, instead of judging someone based on their GameWith subs or Patreon subs, which they can't track internally. They can track them via their Twitch subs for their one emote. Say you have a certain number of Twitch subscribers, right, for that one emote. Maybe it's a number that they won't share. Maybe it's a number that they will share with affiliates. Say you get to a certain number and you stay at a certain number for a certain number of time, for a certain amount of time, partnership. You know, those are
Yeah.
people that are legitimately willing to support your community, your stream, your content for X amount of time. You
Most
have these people
definitely.
set.
It definitely makes it easier for Twitch staff in that sense as
Yeah.
well, because it shows who's pushing and who will, you know, keep pushing if they get partnered with that one emote to see how many subscribers that they can get with that one, and then they can look at that and say, hey, this person's doing well, we should give them partnership. Yeah, I think it's definitely
Yeah.
easier.
I think it will help affiliates and people hoping for partnership as well. I do think that Snowlit is absolutely right. There is the danger of people sort of getting affiliate and then quitting their jobs. You know, for some people, that's realistic. For other people, that's not. And for most people, that's not. And I think that people can, you know, there are a lot of people of all ages on Twitch, and they have to be mature adults about that kind of decision. You know, some people go full time really early. Some people don't go full time until they've been streaming for like 3 years. You know, it really, 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 really depends on the person. And ultimately, no one is more responsible for that decision than the streamer themselves, whether they're affiliate or partner or whatever. You know, not every partner can fully support themselves on the money they make from Twitch. And a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people think that, oh, you're partnered, oh, you're good, you know, and so they actually donate and cheer. They didn't cheer before because they couldn't cheer in other channels, but now they can. A lot of people think that, oh, you're partnered, that means you're good. Let me help the smaller people more, you know, and that hurts the partner. that really hurts the partner a lot, especially smaller partners, but bigger partners too. There's so many things that go into the lifestyle of doing this job, that, you know, it's all a balancing act for everyone. You know, trying to balance streaming in your family, streaming in your current job, leaving your current job, whether or not that's a financially wise decision, whether or not you have savings. What happens if you've been a partner for 2.5 years and all of a sudden you don't have savings anymore because life things happen? What do you do then? These are decisions that you sort of have to make as an adult in any job, in any career. And so is that a danger for affiliates? Yes. Is that going to happen? Absolutely. It happened before with partners. You know, is there anything we can really do about that? I don't know. Are the requirements maybe too low? Maybe.
Yeah, that's the questions that a viewer asked, that Siler asked. You know, do we think the requirements for affiliateship are too low? Just overall, this is asking everybody.
Realistically, I think yes, a little bit too low.
I would agree.
Yeah.
You know, I think it will make Twitch money. I think the requirements are where they're at because it will make Twitch money. And I understand them making that decision, and a part of me supports it because I want Twitch to make money. Twitch is my home. You know, I wouldn't know my amazing teammates. I wouldn't know my amazing community. You know, I wouldn't know, like, I've made some of the best friends I will have for the rest of my life on Twitch. I have gotten to know people from all over the world that have been a part of my community for the last 3 years that are just incredible people. And even the people that I met today, I met new people today. I meet new people every day. And that is a gift and a joy. And none of that would be here if not for Twitch. So of course I want Twitch to continue to grow, and because that helps us all grow and that helps us all continue to do this. But at the same time, I think that it will give people, I think it's a little bit too low of a barrier for entry. At the same time, I don't know if it would make any difference. I don't know if a little bit higher requirements would make that much of a difference in terms of people quitting their jobs and you know, going full tilt at Twitch. You know, there are partners that did that and failed. You know, to be honest with you, I did that. When I first started streaming, I got partnered very early because a Twitch staff member found my stream and liked my content and thought I had potential. And so I got partnered super duper early when I was really tiny. And I was like, okay, well, I have to take this seriously now. And I didn't go full time until about 6 months in. and I had savings to fall back on, and that's why I chose to do that. And I knew that I could go back to my job if I absolutely had to. So those things, I mean, I wasn't completely irresponsible about it, but I still was like, I'm gonna push. And so many people do that, and some people don't have that backup, don't have a savings, don't have a job that they can go back to if they decide to take time off. I think that danger is going to be there no matter what. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. It's an issue of, this is the system, the tool that Twitch has put in place. It's up to people and individual casters how they approach it. That's not something that Twitch can, step in and, mediate. I mean, partners did that, and affiliates are going to do the exact same thing. How you not work against that, but how you counter that is by, trying to do the best of your ability, talk to people who are affiliates, talk to people that are partners, or really start talking, engage in planning and business sense with other people. And that's really the only option that you have there. I mean, that to answer that specific concern, because it's real, but is there much that you can do outside of just talking to people and having conversations about how you approach it? Not really, at least in my opinion.
Anything to add, Bob? Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that. The issue existed before affiliate, like Tess was saying. Just because you become a partner doesn't mean you make it by any way stretch of anyone's imagination. So those kind of decisions are up to the individual. It's just like the favoritism we were talking about before with the different tiers. It's up to the individual streamer to kind of make those decisions for themselves and their community. And Twitch has to be a vehicle. Twitch has to be a medium. Twitch can provide tools. Twitch doesn't. We're all adults, or we're supposed to be if we're doing this, and that's up to the individual person. So I do agree that maybe some of the requirements can be bumped up a little bit, but that problem won't go away. The problem will stay. But I do think that the requirements for affiliate are very, very, very reasonable. And I think somebody said it in the chat, but it kind of allows for almost anybody who really puts some effort into their stream to kind of hit that. But whether or not once they get their affiliate, are they going to be successful at that point? That's up in the air. And that's totally up to the broadcaster to kind of make that happen. That doesn't guarantee any kind of success at that point. So so I think the system overall is working as intended, and like Tess said, it's going to make Twitch money. It is making Twitch money, and that's good for all of us. I don't begrudge them trying to do that and to continue to doing this, because it's what makes this whole thing happen. This whole amazing experience that we're on happens. So I think overall it's really great.
I mean, Twitch is a business. Businesses have to make money. If you want Twitch to succeed, as much as many circles of the internet are loath to talk about money, the reality is, for us as streamers, and then Twitch as a business, to succeed and grow, making money has to be part of the equation, whether you like it or not. Most of us like it. It's a good thing. Whenever you guys are ready, I have my thoughts about affiliate.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
So just kind of the couple of things off the top of the start. I remember actually talking in our Discord about some things about what if they made sub available to everybody like a day or two before the affiliate program was announced. And for me, I was very much opposed to the idea of everybody getting subs. But the affiliate program, I had to step back, after saying that only a few days before, look at it. I think it's awesome. I am an affiliate. I've been in one for about a couple of weeks. I think the biggest thing for me, because partnership is a goal of mine, one of the big concerns at the top, as was mentioned, was the idea that, with affiliates, do partners, is the work the partners do diminished? I do think if you focus on the numbers game, like was pointed out, getting partner, you used to have 500, then 300, then lower than that. If you focus so much on the specific numbers, you need X many viewers, X many hours, I think you miss I think you're focusing on the wrong thing. To me, what makes, as an affiliate, as a smaller channel, what makes partnership, what makes me want to get that is a lot of the other features and the perks. Partners get as some of the things you detail, partners, they get more emotes. That's the biggest one. More, I would assume, better support. I believe it was also detailed. They also get a faster payout than affiliates in almost every single way. It's more advantageous to be a partner than an affiliate. There's more features and more benefits. So as an affiliate, I'm like, well, yeah, of course, I absolutely want that. There's no reason for me to stop pushing for partner. And, as Twitch has said, they're going to be adding more and more features for partners. Every feature they add for a partner, every partner exclusive feature is yet another reason to keep chasing after it, even if you're an affiliate. So that's my thought there. The reality as an affiliate, kind of what I've experienced is the first thing is, while it's really exciting, for me, it was a huge, and for a lot of other affiliates I knew, it was a huge boost of confidence. We've been working at things, we've been doing the grind, and for us, Twitch said, hey, bits are coming, subs are coming, and we were all having a freak out session because we've been using things like Game List, we've been pushing, and finally, we got a benefit from Twitch that doesn't turn our world upside down. It's not like your world suddenly changes when you become an affiliate. It's kind of like, for me, I see people talk about, getting partnered, and there's a huge flurry of subs when you get partnered, you're riding the high, and then it kind of evens out. It's the same way with affiliates. For myself, at least, there was a huge flurry of, celebration and bits up top, and then it kind of evened out. It's just the reality of doing things out here. So it creates new opportunities to me, as opposed to completely changing the way you experience Twitch. So you kind of have to, it's a good thing to be excited about, but like with partnership, like with every other opportunity on Twitch, my experience has been, it's exciting, it's encouraging, but you have to take it into perspective along with everything else. Some of the other thoughts just kind of going from me, and other reasons why I really, really like it. The first one is you get integrated into Twitch's system early on. I'm registered as an affiliate. I'm, monetarily, they have my information in there. Should I get partnered, it will be a lot less of a transition giving them all of my information as an affiliate than it would be otherwise. I'm already in there. They can track my metrics. It won't be as big of a hurdle. I'm already getting used to, this is how the way Twitch does things. This is how I check revenue. This is where I find information related to taxes. This is basically, I'm getting introduced to their system early on. So it's not, getting hit with a fire hose much later in the process. One of the other things that, two other things, actually, in addition to making it a little bit easier for me, it makes it easier for other people. One of the challenges that as streamers we've had is talking to people that are not part of Twitch about what we do, especially if we're trying to, get interest in our channels. And up until this point, if we were to imagine trying to explain to somebody, yes, I live stream content on this site, but if you want to monetarily support me, I'm going to have to direct you to the third-party website where you'll have to put in your credit card or PayPal information. And then I promise through this third-party site, it will actually get to me. It's a really complicated, convoluted system. And even those of us who we understand Twitch, we understand, going through sites like GameList and Patreon, it's intimidating and confusing to someone who has no idea what that is. There's a reason why most people who support streamers, why more people will sub on Twitch than they will GameList. It's just, every person who has been partnered, if you had, Patreon or GameList beforehand, it's a huge jump every single time. There's reasons for that. And so because affiliates will be able to get subs, that effective barrier to entry is now gone. You don't get all the perks as a subscriber, but the system is there. And now, if I'm talking to somebody about what I do on Twitch, once the sub button comes in, I no longer have to talk about going through any third-party site. It's simply, yes, I'm an affiliate broadcaster on Twitch. You can subscribe for $5, or $10, or $25 a month, right through it. A lot easier to talk about. And it kind of, the last thing that I think helps, it's not really a tangible thing as much as, and again, sort of an opportunity and language that you can use. as an affiliate, when I talk to other people who may or may not be, or especially people who are not familiar with what Twitch is, and because I do, creative content in addition to my gaming content, I can engage in conversations with people who might not be keen on games but are interested in the voiceover work. I can tell them I'm an affiliate broadcaster on Twitch. I've been given language to utilize, kind of to leverage what I do whenever I sell my content. Up until this point, it's been a little bit tricky. I mean, if you were a partner, you could say I'm a partnered broadcaster. But if you weren't there, it's like, well, what do you do? What are you? We really didn't have the language or the terminology. Now we do. And in a short, concise, line, I can talk to people and say, I'm an affiliate broadcaster on twitch.tv. Here's what I do. Here's how you can support me. It's simple. It's easy. It creates, more than anything, it creates new opportunities for smaller channels like mine who want to succeed, who want to push for partnership. But up until this point, it's been sort of an awkward journey to get there.
Really good point overall. I didn't even think about that. Like for the rest of us here and how, when we explain to somebody, that we talk to, like maybe in person, be like, they ask, what do you do? And we're like, oh, we're partnered on Twitch, etc., etc. Have you guys ever thought about like having to find the proper terminology to describe what you do to somebody that may not have an idea what Twitch is? I didn't even think about that as far as like.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, for like.
I think it's a good point, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think about that. I never thought about when someone asks, "Oh, what do you do?" It's just like, "Oh, I stream on Twitch." There was nothing really. There was no label to put with it, I guess.
And admittedly,
I never brought partnership into it. I think it's the same. I think it's different and good that you now have a term for companies that you're approaching, whether it be game companies or tech companies or anything that you're going to relate back to your work, right? That you now have a way to be like, hey, I'm an affiliate. Hey, I'm a partner, blah, blah, blah. In terms of explaining to your everyday, like I at my nail salon the other day, I had a person be like, what do? Do you make videos of some kind? I don't know why this person assumed that. I think it was the hair. But I was like, well, sort of, but they're live. And they're like, what? And I'm like, it's kind of like YouTube, but live. And they're like, what? And so, I mean, I think for the layman sort of everyday person that has no idea what Twitch is all about or YouTube is all about or Instagram is all about or any of that, it's still hard. And partner and affiliate, they won't really, if they don't understand Twitch,
they won't understand
or
the
YouTube,
difference. Yeah.
Yeah. They, I mean, you could throw all the terms at them that you want and they'll be like, what? But for a business standpoint, for any company that you're trying to get interested in your content, in yourself as a content creator, to be able to say I'm affiliated is a wonderful thing, and that's something that also you could take to Twitch eventually and be like, I don't know what Twitch is going to do with the metrics. I don't know if they're going to, because right now what they're doing with affiliateship is they're inviting affiliates, right? They're seeing the metrics for people's channels and just inviting people. It's not like people can apply for affiliateship. I think in the future, I don't know this for sure, but I feel like in the future for partnership, what will happen is maybe some people can apply, but maybe others will just be asked by Twitch because they see their sub count at a certain point. And they'll be like, okay, it now makes sense for us to partner you. Because the thing is, it costs Twitch money to partner a person. It costs Twitch money to transcode, to give viewers quality options for that person's channel, to put them on whatever server that they need, and different things to have a different contract. I'm sure it costs, there's a bunch of different things that go into it that I don't even understand. But it costs Twitch money to partner people. And if that partner is not able to sort of offset the cost of that with what they bring to Twitch, then it doesn't make sense to partner them, right? When I got partnered, it was super early. I'd been streaming for like a month. And one of the things that the person that was going to partner me asked my community was, how many of you will sub? He literally came into the stream and was like, chat, how many of you will sub to this girl? And a whole bunch of people were like, heck yes. And I think that's what got me partnered. I think my community got me partnered because a whole bunch of people were like, I'll sub, of course I'll sub, you know, blah, blah, blah. We love her, which is amazing. It was a gift my community and Twitch gave me very early in my streaming career. And it was amazing. And you know, I definitely think that it's awesome that affiliateship is happening because I think that Twitch will come to more streams that they see having that potential. And affiliates can show that potential more clearly to Twitch by getting people to sub for that one emote. Because realistically, the people, it's the same as people subbing at a higher tier to a partner. The people that are going to subscribe to that one emote are not really doing it for that one emote. Like, yes, it's cool. They get one emote and they can throw it all around Twitch and get more people to find out about their favorite streamer, which is awesome. Use your favorite streamers emotes everywhere. Do it. But they're also going to show Twitch, we support this caster. They're going to do it because they love this person's content. They love what this person is doing for their community and they want to see that person do more. And they're going to be like, I'm going to show Twitch, I want more from this streamer. Let me sub, you know, let me show Twitch that I want more. Give them partnership. All I have to do is subscribe, you know, and people will do that. People will absolutely do that. If all they have to do is, you know, they will do it for the emote, but I think they'll do it because they love that person, you know, and they love that person's content more than anything.
Yeah, partners are business investments, and every metric that Twitch can get in order to determine, or to hopefully better determine if someone is going to be a good investment or not, is worth it. And the affiliate program gives them more options that they didn't otherwise have, and at the same time happens to benefit the affiliate in question.
Really good points. Bog, do you have anything to add about affiliate since you've been quiet a little bit here? And I know you're leaving soon because you have to hop out of the podcast a little early.
Yeah. Not anything more than I said earlier. I think that it's a great addition, and you know, I'm super happy that a lot of other folks have the opportunity to get some official Twitch support and some love in that way. And I already know, like, you know, I have a small stream team just for, you know, my community, anybody who's in my community that wants to kind of be in that. And I love seeing a whole bunch of them, you know, get super excited and celebrate the fact that they got their affiliate invites and stuff like that. So I definitely curious to see how it all develops. You know, this is brand new. All of these changes all at once, just rapid fire. I almost feel, you know, like, especially in terms of the because we got the affiliate program and we got the sub tiers and we got the new emote unlocks, and they also have, like, you know, the custom bit badges coming in at the same time. And, you know, a little while ago we had the animated the bits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The tier emotes. There's so much being thrown at us at once. It's almost like, slow down. But it's great to see. It's great to be on this ride. They really have been adding more and more. And, you know, and just to think, like, it was last August that they introduced cheering, you know. So, I mean, just so many if you just look back at the last year, it's been crazy. So I'm on this ride, man. I'm excited. Let's just keep doing this. See where this goes.
I think for all of us, we're just like, oh God, so much is. I mean, a year ago, sure. Think about January.
Things like
over
none
the
of
past
these things
few
were out in
months.
January.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh my God. You know, what is, for me, it's number one, looking at what they already have done. And then I'm thinking, okay, if this is what they've been planning on, what all is coming? Because we've heard, hey guys, ideas are in the pipeline, and we're like, yeah, sure. And all of a sudden, like February, boom. Yeah. Item after item after item after item. We're like, whoa, hang on. It's a really good time to be an artist right now.
Gifting subs is coming.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
My God, yeah, please. That can't come soon enough. I'm so excited about that. That's something we've been asking for forever.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be glorious.
Be good.
Yes.
Cool. So, let me skim over our questions here. We do have a few viewer questions I wouldn't mind addressing as well. We have one here. I don't know if this viewer is still listening, but from Sarah Orion. Are you afraid sub counts will be ever more inconsistent because people are gonna do their $25 subs to help at first, but they may not necessarily keep it forever? Do you feel like there's more fluctuation even more now with the new sub tier system?
Yes, sure.
Absolutely. It's harder to budget. It's much more difficult. So one big change for me, because I've been doing this for 3 years, and at least for the first probably year and a half that I streamed, I was not living off subs. Subs were a little bonus money. I mean, I was making enough on subs that I could, support the cast, sort of, and that it was worthwhile for Twitch. But I wasn't paying my rent off of subs, not entirely. I was definitely living off of donations plus subs for a long time, for at least the first year of my stream, I want to say. Maybe after a year, I think it changed a little bit, but it was much different. Like if I wanted to raise money for something, for the stream, like say, I wanted to get a new computer so that I could set up a two PC stream so that my stream wasn't crashing every time I played a alpha game that crashed every 5 minutes. I could do a fundraiser subathon or streamathon or whatever. And this happened. I did 24-hour streams, which, I think that's how Snowlit found me actually originally. Was I did 24-hour streams to raise funds for some stream upgrade. And I did charity streams as well, but particularly I remember doing several for specific things for the stream, like a new computer or a capture card or the PS4 that I now play Destiny on still to this day. And when someone would donate those funds, I would have them immediately. Granted, there was always the danger of a chargeback. And so I would basically have to have double the funds to be able to actually make purchases. And I would usually wait, and I also had savings at the time, so I had backups. So it's just different. Like when you raised funds for something for a specific reason, you could spend those funds almost immediately and get the thing for the stream that you wanted. Right now, it doesn't work like that. With bits, you have to wait a long time. You have to wait 45 days from. It's complicated. It's not even always 45 days from when the person sends you the bits, because if a person sends you the bits on a certain day and it's like too close to the next payout, it actually takes almost twice the amount of time. And so it's just harder to budget because you know what your payout is going to be, but you don't know what your payout is going to be the next month after that. And you don't necessarily know what the payout is going to be the next month after that. And it just becomes difficult when you raise funds for something and people donate with bits, and you can't actually get the thing until several months later. People are like, well, where's the thing? Why didn't it happen? Oh, it's coming in 2 months.
There's a lead time.
Really long time. It's a really long time to explain to people about constantly. So it makes that kind of thing more difficult. Overall, I think it's a minor problem. We just have to do things a little bit differently. We have to budget a little bit differently. We have to fundraise for stream things a little bit differently and more carefully. It requires a lot more advanced planning, I think.
So, go ahead.
Oh, and I was about to say on a part of that, which, Bog, you were talking about earlier with Patreon, just from a monetization standpoint, diversify your income. There's 2 things that I've heard from people who do streaming professionally. It is their full-time job. 2 things. Number 1, build a schedule, stick to it. Number 2, which is repeated almost as much, is diversify your income. Do not put all of your eggs in one single basket. Go for multiple angles. On Twitch, that could be, donations and subscriptions. Great. Merchandise, if you could do an outside product, great, or an outside form of support like Patreon. Do not bet everything in one single system, because if for whatever reason that fails or falls through, you're kind of out of luck there.
I think another thing to remember is that with something like streaming, especially if you do it full time, it's always going to be risky. There is no guarantee ever no matter what Twitch throws at us for tools and ways to make more money, etc., like there's no guaranteed stability at all. And that's something that streamers have to, whether you're a partner or not, whether you're an affiliate, partner, whatever, you have to keep that in mind always.
One of the things, and I talked about this in chat a little bit earlier, but so most of us have multiple income sources, right? You'll have tips that come in, you'll have cheering bits, subs, Patreon or Game Wisp if you have one, and then any kind of affiliate programs that you have, if you sponsored or by Corsair or SteelSeries or Amazon or anything like that. So there's multiple, or a merchandise shop. So you have multiple revenue sources. Most of the ways that Twitch streamers make money is very, very volatile, right? Month to month, things like tips and cheering bits can go way up, way down, and it's hard to kind of budget based on those. So I've always budgeted or tried my best based on my current sub count, because that's fairly consistent. There's usually not like huge wide swings in that, or Patreon support, because I can look at that number that's coming in each month. The thing that's always been tricky about Patreon is I'll have a couple of huge, generous supporters over there that pledge a lot, right? And it makes up a good chunk of my monthly income. And I've had in the past times where those people have to cut back for whatever reason, and they cut back, and it's a significant drop. So one thing I think that we all need to be cognizant of as we have these increased sub tiers is, especially now because it's brand new, we might have an increased amount of people trying to jump in on that because of the hype of it and trying to be generous and support. So you could have a big chunk of your sub number tied to a few individuals who might not be able to sustain that long term. So I think that it's important to realize that, yes, I do think as we see this program continue, right, you might see some way big fluctuations in that otherwise fairly stable number as far as Twitch streamers go, stable number that comes in. So I do think that is a concern, and I don't think we have been in this program long enough to kind of see the impact of that. But speaking from somebody who's seen that happen on Patreon and seen how that's impacted me, I do think that's a concern. Yeah, certainly. That was a lot of words just to say that. Sorry.
It's all good. Very good point, though. I hadn't even thought about that. How, with this new sub-tier system, there is that possibility that for some streamers out there that a lot of their income does depend on a very select few number of people, because they're providing more support, but it's fewer people. That's per se, So it could be if they have to cut back. Oh no, you lose a huge chunk suddenly. What do you do?
Absolutely, it's a big concern, and it happens, and it will happen. It'll happen to all of us.
And I feel like the biggest, if there's one thing, this is my observation, Bog and anyone else could chip in with your thoughts on this. It seems that one of the biggest pieces of advice that I've seen from people is, in this whole cycle of feast and famine, don't, lose focus of your budget, your line when you have feast. It's really tempting to, when you get like a huge month, to say, hey, I can spend a little bit more, splurge a little bit. That's maybe, but there's a dangerous slippery slope there if you get carried away by the thrill of having a good month.
Absolutely, you're going to see it's a roller coaster. You're gonna have those zeniths and you're gonna have those naders, and you have to be prepared for those droughts. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very good
have
point.
To be just budgeting. Just be careful. You may have a good month. You may have a bad month. Just be careful with what you have, and just don't overdo it because you're so hyped and like, oh, I got all these 24.99 subs. Wow, I've got to go spend it all. But no, you have to budget and make sure, because they can easily drop and you don't know what you're going to get from month to month. So you just need to budget and be careful and spend it on the right things. And even if you have to upgrade your streams, sometimes you may have to push that back a few months and wait before you upgrade, just so you can make sure that you're stable and you have enough to do that.
Yeah, I think more than ever, with all these new features, with the new sub tiers, and then also the affiliates program, and more people getting these monetization options as well, and not knowing how important it is to manage your money. I mean, this entire career in general requires that smart money management, but more than ever, I feel like, especially for people who are brand new to this and they don't realize just how important it is, something to keep in mind, especially for people that are full-time. So you just never know. Very good points overall there. Let me see. So we've mostly covered everything, but we do have a few Q&A from viewers, if you guys are okay to answer there. Some of them are not really related to the topic at hand, but I thought they would be cool to hear you guys' answers too. This is from Mazulia. What is your favorite part of streaming? What is the thing you enjoy the most when you stream live to your viewers? I know it's hard to narrow it down to one thing, but just out of curiosity.
Sweatpants. Working in sweatpants. That's the best thing. Speaking from someone who worked in a corporate environment for 12 years. Sweatpants!
I think one of the amazing things for all of us, having it as a job that you can fluctuate, it's your own thing. You can do it whenever you want. You can stream that day if you're not well. I'm going to take a day off. I'm not feeling very well. That for me is amazing because not many of you know, but I have a condition that means I can't really have a normal job. So having Twitch there as something that I can do as a full-time job is amazing, because I couldn't, I have days where I'm not feeling well enough to stream, and I can just say, hey guys, I'm really sorry, I'm not feeling well today. Whereas a normal job, it's like, no, you can't do that. You can't just have this day off, this day on, or cut time out of a day. Having Twitch there as something that you can mold to your situation it's really nice, and I think that's an amazing thing that gives people with disabilities an amazing tool to use as a permanent job instead of sitting around not being able to do much. I think it's an amazing thing.
For me, it's the people, like hands down. I have had some of the most interesting, you meet some of the most fascinating people on Twitch. It's really crazy. Some of the conversations that you have, the types of people and the stories that you hear, and then some of the conversations. I've had some really engaging, really intriguing conversations with people, ranging from, fun and like way out of left field to really serious, but really enlightening discussions as well. And that's, dialed up to 11 whenever I happen to go to, conventions and see people in person. Start to finish, the biggest part of streaming is the people and the stories that I get connected with as a streamer. Don't get me wrong, I love the fact that I'm able to, do broadcasting work. I spent years trying to do that, couldn't find work, and now I can find a hobby doing it. It's awesome. But for me, it is absolutely the people. I am reminded every day, like, how special people on the internet are, because we're just humans, but we have every single person has a story. Every single person is carrying something with them. And I love it. I love what Twitch gives us the opportunity to do in creating communities and bringing people together, around a personality and around a game in ways that honestly didn't exist years ago.
Very, very similar to Codex. My thoughts are the connections you make with people from all over the world, from all walks of life, that share your interests to a degree, share something in common. Like, every person that comes into a channel is going to have something in common with the caster, right? And something in common with the other viewers, and even beyond the connections I make with viewers and other casters and mods and everybody. Seeing connections form and relationships form amongst the viewers is cool to me. Seeing the way the community interacts with each other. Like, anytime anyone is having a rough day in my stream, everyone comes together and supports them. And seeing, without me having to say anything, like, it's not like I even have to say a word. People will do that. People will be there for each other. People will support each other's interests. And some of the biggest inspirations for me have been amongst my community, and just the people that I've gotten to know from all over the place, from all walks of life, all sorts of careers, all sorts of experiences and ages and countries and lives, and it's an incredible thing that games and Twitch, not just games but creative endeavors and all sorts of different things bring us together in this way, to sort of keep each other company, to be each other's support systems, to entertain, to get to know, it's an incredible thing. From the very beginning, one of the reasons I started streaming was because I didn't want to play these amazing games by myself. I missed the presence of people. I found out about Twitch because of an MMO that I played, EVE Online, which I was very into for many years before I found Twitch. And some of those people inspired me to play some single player games. And I wanted to play those single player games, but I missed my friends and I missed the ability to make new friends. And that's why I started streaming originally. And people came into the stream and I got to find out about some other absolutely epic games. And I got to share all of these incredible experiences with other incredible people. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I don't care that I make less money or work way more hours. It's so worth it to me. It's so worth it to me to get to know, everyone that's on the Chillest, every single viewer watching right now, every single sub, every single donor, every single person that's ever been in my stream for 5 minutes. That's really cool that they chose to spend their time to do that, and that I got to know some small part of them, or even that they got to know some small part of all of us. And I think it's amazing, the connections we make with really epic people all over the world.
I agree with all of that, but I think the recently one of the best things about streaming for me is I get to snuggle my kitty all the time. Quite literally, it's gotten to the point where she sleeps in my lap when I stream, like every single day, and it's something different. I don't know, but I agree with all of that too as well, because people are amazing, our communities are amazing, and I never would have thought I'd be doing this still, right? 2.5 years later, but yeah, kitty snuggles. You can't beat kitty snuggles. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I get to see my cats all the time. Sometimes they come and snuggle, other times they come and wreck my gameplay horribly. But they're here, and I get to spend the day with them to a degree as much as I do with other people. Being home is wonderful. Working from home is wonderful. But I worked from home before I streamed, and I actually probably got to snuggle with my cat more when I worked from home, because there weren't lights and it wasn't bright and I wasn't all animated and talking all the time. And I, working from home is a gift. It is a gift. And everyone should have the opportunity to do that if they desire to do that, in whatever career. I wish that was an option for all people. But there's just so much here. I think one of the coolest things that I'm loving about Snowlit's stream, and the fact that she now has a cat, is that we get to take part in her enjoyment of that for the first time. You get to share that with your community. I love seeing that. I know what it's like, right, to have a cat for the first time. When I first got Mika, she was my first cat. I love her so much. She's amazing. I love Gingy. I got Gingy while I was streaming, and people got to experience that, and that was awesome. It was awesome to share that with the community, and I love seeing stuff like that happen on Twitch. An experience like a broadcaster like Snowlit, who brings so much of her personality to her stream, getting a pet for the first time and being able to share that. Like, for me as a viewer, that is a gift she's giving to us. And it's so awesome to see that. And I'm sure for her as a caster, that's an amazing thing to be able to share that with her community. So Twitch just connects people, and it's wonderful. It's amazing. It's ridiculous that this even exists to me. It's incredible.
I love it. So good. So good. Have we all answered the question? We have, right? Okay, so this is a question now from Fayas. What additional things would you like to see Twitch do or make to help support partners like you or affiliates? Just say wishful thinking, I would love this to be a feature.
I mean, I kind of addressed it before. Really, as far as what I could think of right now, give us as much information as possible. I'm talking before about, who... For me, I have ideas as to what I would want to do with different tiers, different subs, different, loyalty ends. The best way to do that would be if Twitch gives me as much information as they possibly can, and then leave it up to me with what I do with that. So, and I don't know, I mean, there may be that may be coming, but what I want from Twitch more than anything is information.
I agree with that. I would also add, and I've been telling my community a long time, and I don't know if this is even possible, but I would love at least the delay on Twitch to be as reduced as far as possible. Now, I know that there's a ton of factors that go into that, and people's own latency to the stream is a huge factor, right? You can have wildly different interactivity with some folks and stuff like that. And I know that there's a reduced latency option that you can enable that's been in beta forever. But sometimes that makes it very difficult. I like to be very interactive, which I think a lot of us like to be very interactive. And sometimes it's a hamper to not be able to kind of chat totally real time. And I know there's a lot of complicated things that I don't understand that go into that, but I would love that. I would love to have instant feedback, instant communication with my audience, and so that's a big thing on my list.
Anyone else?
I would say Twitch have already brought so many things that are amazing, but I mean, the only thing I can think of right now is maybe with some other sites that provide services, as in the Twitch Cup and stuff like that, and also like Better TV's dark mode on Twitch, certain things that maybe they could implement to their site instead of having to go to a third party site to get access to, maybe bring some of those ideas and make it possible on Twitch, like they did with the VODs, not with VODs, the clips, because clips was started with Oddshot, and they seen that how popular it was, and they brought it over to Twitch and integrated it into their website. Maybe take some of those third-party things that you can get, like cups and the dark mode on Twitch, and bring them over to the site so we can use them on one site, and it makes it so much simpler to explain, and it's just ease of access.
I like that. Anything else before we move on? No? We're good? So we have a question here from Tim Collison. With growing communities, has anyone recognized you outside of streaming yet? Outside of Twitch-related activities, of course. Just in person.
I have a story.
Oh man. This sounds good.
Okay, so this is years ago. I took my family was at Disney World, and my now ex-wife and my ex-mother-in-law were there with me as well, and we were all together, and we're doing the Disney thing, my kids and everything. We got separated at some point. I found myself all of a sudden by myself. I couldn't find where anybody else was. And as I'm looking around crowds and throngs of people, I hear somebody say all of a sudden, "Bog Otter!" And I'm like, what? And then like some random person comes up to me and just starts talking to me. And, I was primarily doing YouTube at the time, but I was streaming, this is years ago. I was doing, YouTube and some streaming, and we just started talking. We're like, I recognize you from this. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, great. This is the first time anything ever like this has happened to me. And I was like so caught up in this moment of just like, this is awesome. And I come crashing back to earth like 5 seconds later as my mother-in-law like zips up and goes, like, doesn't even realize I'm talking to someone. And it's just like, where have you been? One of those kind of things. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really not cool, and this is my mother-in-law, and I have kids and vacation. That's the one time that's really happened outside of a convention type thing. It was kind of cool.
Were you not thrown off by it? No, like privacy concerns or anything?
See, the thing is, I started this whole journey as a writer. So I wrote for several websites, gaming websites, and my full name was just used for all of that, and my Twitter address is my full name. So the point of hiding any of that stuff is long gone. There's no way to take it back. So I don't worry about that anymore. So whatever.
Cool story though. Anyone
Yeah.
else? Getting recognized outside of Twitch, outside of conventions and Twitch things?
I got noticed. I was wearing someone else's Twitch shirt actually. I've gotten noticed, but not as a streamer really. For Twitch related stuff. Like I was traveling to a con once and I was wearing a t-shirt from a streamer that I love, who's a friend, and the person was like, "You know about Twitch? Wait, are you a streamer?" And I was like, "Yes." And it was weird because I was paying for something and it was just weird. It was weird. It was weird. I was also once with a streamer that got recognized because we were on the same flight. We were going to the same event together, and he's a much bigger streamer than I am. One of the people that first originally inspired me actually. And so someone recognized him, and that was hilarious because I got to like observe that because someone came up to us and was like, wait, you're this person. I was in your stream earlier today, and now you're here. Holy butts! Except that's not what he said. It was hilarious. It was hilarious, and I was just kind of standing there like, oh my god, it was great. It was great to see. But yeah, not really. I don't think enough. I don't think Twitch is quite mainstream enough, and I don't know. I'm not that big yet, so who knows someday. That will be very weird if that ever happens. I think I would be really nervous if that actually ever happened outside of Twitch. It's not that I wouldn't want that, but it would be strange. I think it would take away some of my illusion of privacy that I have for myself.
Yeah, Starlit or Codex Reaper?
Nope. There's if anybody else noticed me right now, I'd be shocked given how small I am.
I mean, no one's noticed me outside of streaming, and I haven't really been to many conventions yet, so no one's really noticed me. I mean, I went to Twitch London, and people see me there, but that was all to do with Twitch. So, you're going to get noticed at those kind of events that are around Twitch, but not outside of Twitch now.
The most I got was I was wearing my purple Twitch hoodie, and I went to Denny's, and some guy was like, "I like your Twitch hoodie," and I was like, "Cool," but he didn't ask who I was.
It's just like a nod. It's like a nod. Oh, you know Twitch? And I know Twitch.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
That happened to me at the bus stop today. Some 11-year-old, I was dropping my kid off at the bus, and some 11-year-old pointed to my shirt. He's like, "Twitch, I like Twitch."
That's hilarious.
I like Twitch too.
It was actually really interesting. Like, I feel like Twitch is getting talked about more, or is getting noticed a lot more. At least for me, I'm noticing him publicly. Like, I went out to coffee a few weeks ago, with a friend of mine, and we were talking Twitch. We went outside, kind of leaving the area, and there was a guy and a gal that were talking about Twitch as well. I think he might have been kind of explaining more of what it was, but we just stopped for a second. We're like, is this really happening? Like, we're just in some, we're just podunk out in the middle of Denver, and two other random people are just talking about Twitch. It's like, this is becoming everyday news. This is actually kind of cool, but I don't know, for me, I don't really know if I would want to be noticed outside of a convention as much as I love people, there comes a point where I'm like, I just don't want to be. I guess the way I've explained it to people before is it's kind of like being a superhero. By day, I've got my job or my school or whatever I do. I have my real name. By night, I'm saving whatever city I'm playing or destroying the world or whatever, and I have that fake name. And I try to keep these two worlds completely separate. And it's those moments where they collide. They can either be really, really cool or really, really, I don't really want to be seen right now. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. It's like outside of a convention, I'm not really sure if, I would like to be able to have some sort of anonymity, and I like having that.
Well, there's always that concern of like people taking it to the extreme and things like stalking
Yes.
and, you know, endangerment, you know? So it's definitely still scary, which is why the caution is warranted, you know?
Yeah, I honestly, like, I remember there have been times where I've stayed at hotels at conventions and other people like, I would go to the gym to run on the treadmill, and because I run all the time, and someone else came to the treadmill room and was there doing like weights or something. It was like, hey, your Tess. And I'm like huffing and puffing and like sweaty and gross. And I'm just like, hi. Oh God. Like literally my heart was kind of exploding out of my chest. It would make me nervous. It would absolutely make me nervous. I have to be honest about that, if that ever happened. It would probably make me happy too, but it would make me nervous.
Yeah.
You know, I would rather someone approach me than not, you know, like I would never want someone that sees me out and wants, because I've actually had that happen at conventions. I've had people later come into the stream and be like, I saw you, but I was too nervous to come up and say hi.
Yes.
That makes me feel terrible. Like I don't want to make you feel, like I want you to come up and say hi. I absolutely do. You know,
unless we're in the bathroom.
Well, yeah, that would be interesting. But I mean, yeah,
right. If you park into the stall next to me to start talking, no, I will draw a line there, buddy.
I love you, Codex. You're awesome. But yeah, like I want, even if I do a double take and I'm like, whoa, hey, you know, that's probably what I would do, honestly. It would take me a second to like realize what's going on, even because it's never happened before. But I would much rather someone come up to me and say, hey, you know, I watch your stream. I would love that. Because I mean, again, it's all about connecting with people, and I would much rather know that you're there and say hi to you in person, and you know, than not, and then have someone be like, I was nervous, and I totally get that. Just know I'm probably a lot more nervous than you are, and most streamers are like that. You know, if you're afraid of approaching your streamer, and you just see them out, like, don't go to their house even if you know where they live. That's going too far. But if you see them out somewhere at a convention or something like that, don't be afraid to say hi. They want that. They wouldn't be at the convention if not, you know, if they weren't comfortable with that. So
yeah, and it's one of those things where if somebody knew me from Twitch and happened to see me IRL, you know, outside a convention, I would love it if they said hi. It's as long as there's this recognition of, I would not be like, when I go to conventions, I'm in the zone to see and talk to as many people as I possibly can. If someone ever caught me outside of that, of course I'd love to say hi to you. But it's more of a surprise, a pleasant surprise, but it's more of a surprise than nothing else. And part of the challenge for, you know, when I go into conventions, I expect to, you know, meet and talk all the time. But there are moments where, you know, in real life, you know, if I'm outside, I'm probably shuffling groceries back and forth. And that's my focus right there. Love saying hi, but I'm just focused on something different at the time. I don't know if that makes sense.
For the next question, I do have to head out. So.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Bog, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks, everybody. It was a blast. I hope you guys had fun watching, and I know all my other.
Do your last self intro before you head out, since we do that at the end usually.
Okay. I'm Richie, aka Bogotter, twitch.tv/Bogotter. I'm a variety streamer. 5 days a week, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. usually. Play a variety of different games. Guild Wars 2, Witcher 3. I'm going to be streaming Last of Us tomorrow during a subathon event. And yeah, very inclusive, welcoming, positive community called the Ottoman Empire. That is the community that comes and hangs out with us. So thanks everybody from the Ottoman Empire and the Chillest communities for hanging out with us in chat, and that's been a lot of fun. So good night, everybody.
Take care, Bog.
Bye.
You're awesome. His troll emote is the best emote on Twitch. Seriously, you need it. I need it. I'm gonna sub right after the stream. Resub, I think, because I thought I was, but I'm not. I have to resub. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Take care, Bog. Cool. So we continue. So we have 2 more questions and then we'll be wrapping up as well. Everybody got bigger on screen on the stream.
Oh my god.
Your face is now bigger. All right, so this is a question from Bacon Potato. We covered it a little bit, but I guess we're gonna go through specifics as far as strategies go and stuff. But how difficult is it to budget with the way that Twitch pays out? The 45-day payment delay.
It's difficult because it's not just 45 days. Like it is 45 days, but it just really depends on when people do things. And so like you have to go back 2 months in your dashboard when you're looking at your revenue. You have to go back 2 months to know what you're getting that month, right? And then sometimes that's not exactly accurate because weird Twitch things, and it's difficult. I budget based on half of what's in my dashboard, and even then I try to, that's basically how that works. I budget based on half and maybe a little less than half, maybe like a third. I budget on like a third of what's in my dashboard, and then if there's extra, then I'm like, yay, and I save it for the next time. Yeah, I didn't used to do that. I used to budget on probably 2/3 and keep back a third just for taxes when I had savings. But then my savings got decimated by life, and so now I keep more back so that I can actually try and build some savings again in case anything else happens. Because it probably will, because that's life.
The way I work with the budget is most of the time I try my best to have savings, like just backup, just in general, just to be there as a safety net in case anything happens, in case, it's a bad month or something, and just having that safety blanket of savings makes me feel a lot more comfortable having that there, making sure that if anything happens, okay, I've got that little blanket there, I'm going to be okay. But most of the time I just try, I don't have a budgeting system. I'm just like wing it. But most of the time I'm very careful not to spend too much, even because, Twitch goes towards food, it goes towards rent, it goes towards everything. So you just got to be careful and make sure you have a bit of savings backup, I would say, just there in case you need it. That's the way I do it.
And I know you haven't experienced it quite yet, Reaper, because the affiliate payout is 60 days actually. But, we would love to hear your updates later down the road when you get around to just getting in the groove with things.
But what I will say is the way that I'm trying to approach it right now, for those of you who don't know, I have announced I'm an affiliate, I am going full-time. There's a number of other things happening, but part of that is, full-time Twitch and savings. And for me, the biggest thing is I've been working out my budget to plan for this. It's planning as long and as lean as I can without basically not planning for good months is kind of the best way to put it. I'm going with a budget that is conservative so that if, a good month comes, great. If a lean month happens, I'm not screwed. Moving forward, as, hopefully moving forward with affiliate towards the goal partnership, more income would be a factor. As I learn that, that's probably just how I'm going to approach it, is to what is the minimum that I can do that I'm actually comfortable living with, and then stick to that. What makes sense? What am I happy doing? Going and assuming that sacrificing and living light is the reality of doing things. You do not come into Twitch because you want to, get rich. That's not really what it's about. And so taking that into account, knowing that ahead of time, is the only way that, for me, that's how I'm approaching it. And based on every, person that I've seen or talked to about this, that's the way that's going to work. And that's how I'm approaching it. We'll see how it evolves over months.
I think another thing to also consider is that taxes. Even if you're not full-time, you still have to pay taxes if you earn money from streaming. Whether it's through, PayPal tips and donations, or whether it's officially through Twitch. People forget that a lot, and so come tax season they get screwed over hardcore because they didn't save any of it and they didn't put any of it aside for taxes. So make sure, even if you're not full-time, even if you have another part-time full-time job, like a standard office desk job, whatever, and you're just doing streaming for fun as a hobby, One huge like money management tip I would say is to please put aside money for taxes, even if you don't make like more than $500 or something like that. Like, just do it. Just report it and do it. You know, it's good, a good habit to get into if you do that.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is the habit, because there is, I mean, I'm trying to remember I'd have to actually research legal code, because taxes do make a difference between what is considered a hobby and what is self-employment. There is that distinction. I'd have to go and see. I know I put for this last year, I put what I made on Twitch into hobby, but yeah, get into the habit. And that's one of the other things that I'm happy, kind of going back to some things I said earlier. One of the things that I really like about being an affiliate is before anything with partnership comes up, I'll know their system and presumably, how to getting into the practice of planning ahead, getting into the mode of, okay, this is not a case where my employer sends me my W-2 and I just fill out the forms, put them into TurboTax and then go. It's a
not
different
that
game.
simple.
No, it's not. So getting into that mindset for me is going to be a huge change, because I've never, ever done anything like that ever before. So getting used to that, getting into the mindset, even if, at first I really wouldn't have that much to pay, getting used to it, mental adjustment. The mental adjustment is one of the biggest things for pretty much anything on Twitch. It's how you shift your mindset.
This also
At least in
applies
my
outside of the US, because I know Starlet's in England. I don't know how taxes are like there.
Honestly, I got my first tax form from tax just telling me my taxes from Twitch, and I was like, what the hell is this? We don't do our own taxes in England. It's completely different, and I'm working with a system that's in the US, and I'm like, what is that? What's this form? I didn't even know what the form was. I had no clue. I'm very in the dark about how the whole system works. I've got my thing. I don't have to fill it out or anything. They told me, I emailed tax help, tax help's there to help you, and that's what they do. Just asking questions about it, but it's very complicated, especially when you're in a different country and you have no idea how taxes work in the first place, because our country just pays the tax. They take it out usually of your pay, so you don't do any filling out forms, nothing like that. So it's very difficult. I'm
you're
learning.
used to that, there are definitely a lot of jobs in the US are like that too. A lot of jobs. So if you're used to that, and then you're suddenly going to being self-employed and having to do all of the forms yourself and all of this stuff yourself, you're just like, what? That's how I felt in the beginning too. Honestly, that's how I still feel, even though I've done it a few times already. Every time I do it, I'm like, oh my God, what is all of this?
What I wonder though is that if you still have to pay taxes on the income you earned, even though you don't live in the US, as in having to pay American taxes on, even on is it considered foreign earned income for you? I don't know, Starlet.
I doubt you'd have to pay American taxes. That doesn't seem right to me, but nothing in the tax code does.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we have to pay mainly our taxes to the US instead of here, because I'm employed my employment is with a USA company.
Oh, you're contracted to the US. Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm contracted with Amazon, so it's very tricky. I'm gonna actually hire someone and have them go over it with me and try and fill in all the blanks, because I'm really clueless in all this. I've only just, this is my recent, I've only had one tax form and I'm really confused about the whole thing. But I'm going to ask someone and get it all ironed out and figure it all out, because I am pretty clueless on this. But I'm pretty sure we have to, in the UK, there's a completely different form for us, but we do still pay to the USA because we are in a contract with an American company, I think. I still
For some reason that sounds right, yeah. For me, I've always used TurboTax to process my taxes. I love their system. They have a small business version. I'm absolutely using that next year. Beyond TurboTax, I also have people like my dad that know the tax code pretty well. I can talk to them. I can go to other people. So I have other sources that I'm absolutely going to use. And reality is there is absolutely no shame in that. If you don't understand the tax system, ask people, talk to people. There are professionals that you can hire and talk to for this reason. I do think it would be great if, Twitch and maybe this exists somewhere, not officially, but maybe unofficially, like on some Reddit, like somewhere on Reddit or somewhere on YouTube, like a guide to taxation, but get the information that you need for that. And the reality is the tax code is confusing no matter where you are, but the resources are out there.
The trouble is with the research, I was scouring everywhere. As soon as I got the form, I'm like, do I have to send this back? Do they need this back? What am I doing with this? It was just telling me about the taxes and what's come out. It wasn't even, I didn't need to do anything with it. And Twitch can help you to an extent, but they can't help you with your taxes. As they told me, they can't help direct you with anything like that. They can just tell you the information that's there. There's not many sites you can go to and type help with Twitch tax. There's nothing there because it's not really talked about.
Twitch, self-employment maybe, but even then, I don't know what it would be like internationally. I mean, regardless, what? There's another form I completely forgot. What? I've already filled out 5.
There's no real written down information on what if you're outside the US and with Twitch taxes and I'm just gonna have to talk to someone here and get all the information I need.
Mm-hmm.
Why do taxes have to exist?
Yes,
right?
Good question.
It's very complicated.
Good question.
I think it makes it harder because we're considered self-employed, even though we don't technically hire employees and stuff like that. It kind of sucks.
Self-employment taxes are killer, especially in a lot of states. They are, especially the federal taxes for self-employment, the state taxes for self-employment. They suck, man. They're just ridiculous. It really, I don't know about in other countries, but I'm pretty sure a lot of countries are like this. For some reason, self-employment is considered highly taxable. If you're self-employed, you're supposed to be making uber money, which is actually the opposite of the case. Most people that are self-employed are making way less money because they're not necessarily running huge. Yeah, they're running small businesses, and the expenses involved with that are immense. And so it's funny that it works that way. Not funny, it's a pain in the butt that it works that way. But it's just the reality that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
It's not so simple.
Not at all. But basically the idea is that, whether you're a partner or whether you're affiliate or whether even if you're not doing either one and you're taking and you're receiving donations or tips, whatever you want to call it, you still have to report them more often than not. And it's always safer to report even if you're not required to legally. Just report. There's nothing wrong with reporting to the government that you earned a little bit, even if you don't have to pay taxes on it. Just report it,
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's
sorry.
Exactly. Hobbies, you should report them. But I think if something can be defined on the tax code as a hobby, if there is taxation that's really small, but they have a form, put it on there. That's what I did this last year with Twitch. Was I went into looked at my PayPal, looked at how much I got, because up until that point, all of my Twitch funds had gone to my PayPal. I recorded the number, put it on my tax form. So at the very least, I can say, look, you guys got a report of everything that I had. So
Good stuff. There you go.
Mhm.
So moving on then, this is actually our last question for the podcast. This is from Smart T Mouse. I don't know if this viewer is still here, but do any of you get gamer's block? Not knowing what game or not feeling the will to play a game? And what have you done to overcome this?
I think everybody has gotten that. I certainly have.
I mean, I feel like Snowlit will have a better answer than all of us to this because Warframe, but absolutely yes, for a variety of different reasons. Sometimes, there might be a million games to play, but you feel like your community doesn't really seem to be responding well. Like people aren't. I mean, I gauge my sort of. There's a couple of things that I base games that I want to play on stream. One is, how many viewers am I getting for that game? Yeah, does it seem like my community is active in the chat, is enjoying this content. Am I enjoying this content? Because if I'm not having fun, then the stream's just not fun for other people. I can't fake that, right? So if I'm not having fun with the game, I'm not playing a game. You'll see this happen a lot. Like I'll try a new game and I'll be like, oh, never mind. And then I stop. And then people are like, whatever happened to that game? And I'm like, it wasn't what I thought it was. Or worse. You'll see very quickly, I'll just stop playing the game. I'm very honest about what I actually like and what I don't like. But also just, whether or not people are enjoying watching it, right? If people aren't enjoying watching it, even if it's an amazing game, like there was the game Deus Ex, for example. Love that game. Wish I had time to actually finish it and play it. Can't stream it because people wanted to play it themselves. They didn't really want to watch it, and I realized that very quickly because my chat got very quiet and I didn't have as many people. And I was like, well, maybe they just don't want to see this. And I want to provide content that people enjoy, that I enjoy. I need to find something that's mutually beneficial. And so that absolutely does happen. And sometimes it's a struggle because games, there's a turnover with games. And that's one of the reasons that I've really been trying to find a main game to play, to fall back on when there isn't something new that people are enjoying that I'm enjoying too, right? And for me, that's Destiny. That's the game that I feel like I could play forever. But with that, there comes a danger. When you main a game, if you suddenly switch to something else, people might riot. And it becomes, a lot of people, I feel like these days feel like they have to choose between variety and a main game. And I really, really, really somehow want to make both work. And maybe that's strange, but I think it's possible.
It's not strange because I completely get that. And there's part of me that is still not, if I could find that, I would. There's a part of me that that likes the idea of maining a particular game. And I know if I had to, I could. And I've already got, a couple of games in there, whether or not they would be, good to stream. If I had to stick to one game, I could do it. The problem is I don't necessarily think I want to, but the appeal of having not even just a fallback, but kind of like a main core game that works well, that I enjoy, that I could go to again and again and again, and then kind of fill in the gaps with variety. I think it is very possible. I think the challenge is going to be, does it fit? Ultimately, does your choice of game, do they work well? Do they mesh with your community and with your personality? If they do, I think there would be something nice for a caster and a community to have a game that is there often and is familiar and consistent, along with some variety, but it's not something new every week. I think one of the challenges in variety is that lack of consistency, that lack of something that's familiar, that you can go into and know, you're getting the same, you're getting, how to put it, there's something that's really comforting about tuning into a channel and you're getting the exact same thing that you've always enjoyed and always gotten before.
Mm-hmm. I know that I know what you're trying to say. I used to kind of have that balance where I had a main kind of game that I would always go back to, but I was still, whenever a new game came out, I'd go play that game, and then when it finished and there was like a gap between new games, I would just fall back on Fallout 4, and my stream, they really did enjoy that. But now I find that, I haven't really, Fallout 4, I haven't really been playing it anymore, and there's new games coming out like consistently, like new game, and I want to play them like straight off the bat. I'm like, no, I just want to play it straight away, and I don't find that there's time to go back to that familiar game that I want to go back on, but there's not really time between the new games coming out and going back to that. Whereas if you stick to one game, it doesn't matter about the new games, you're sticking to that game, that's how it is. But I think finding a balance is definitely nice, and I think definitely all of us go through this game block. I don't know what to play today. What am I gonna do? My stream don't really like this game. Maybe I should move on from it. There's always that doubt in there. Like, what are you gonna do today? And especially when you're off stream, I don't even play games off stream anymore. You know, I don't play
you
them.
Still play League of Legends. Off
No,
stream.
no. I don't even play that anymore. My boyfriend plays it all the time, and I don't have time to do that. I'm busy with stream stuff. I'm organizing streams ahead of time. But no, I play no games except for like phone games or something like that off stream because I'm so focused. I'm excited to play them on stream. I think that's more what it is. But I understand that. I definitely would love to go back to kind of that fallback game, whereas I have a new game to play, and then there's the fallback one. I like that. I enjoyed when I had that.
But I guess I speak from having used to main one game and then going to variety. So yeah, there were, especially once you get to that burnout stage and you start burning out on a game that you're playing and streaming almost too much. I encountered that, unfortunately, with the game that I used to stream exclusively, which was Warframe. And as a result, I no longer play it. I actually quit it about 6 months ago officially. I announced my quitting of it to the communities as well. And it's tough because there are days where you get that gamer's block where you're like, I don't want to play this, but I have to, you know, because of the content you're making, right? And sadly, you know, it's hard because you have that dilemma of, do I stick to it even though I don't enjoy it because I get my viewers that way, or, you know? And so it's almost like you feel like you owe your audience base that gameplay that you're not feeling, you know what I mean? And so I encountered that a lot, especially towards the later parts leading up to the months that I officially announced quitting Warframe. I tried so hard, and it's a great game. It's a very good game, but anytime I burn out on a game, I quit, and I never go back to it. I mean, the same thing happened to Path of Exile, because I used to play Path of Exile all the time before I started streaming, and the same sort of thing happened to Warframe. It's not specific to Warframe in general, it's just any repetitive, grindy game like that, sadly, has this effect on me, you know, as a gamer. And so, it's not easy. I don't have any experience trying, well, I guess I do have experience, kind of think of it, of trying to keep that game as a fallback game, right? But trying to go to variety. And I was doing that kind of in the months leading up to when I officially quit. But I found it harder and harder still to include that game even just one day a week in my stream content. So I don't know. I mean, it really depends on how you feel about that game personally. And it sucks when you feel that way because you don't want to feel that way. Trust me, I didn't want to. Because the Warframe's done so much for me, both the game itself, the community on Twitch, the developers for the game, like they invited me, you know, to Canada, to their headquarters last year, you know, and it's just one of those things that, like, it's not because I feel like I owe the game anything, but it's more like, you know, I love it. It's a great game. It's not a bad game by any means, but you feel like you can't keep forcing yourself to stream content that you yourself are not happy with. You know, don't ever compromise that for numbers, because it's not worth it. Your viewers, your community, I mean, this has been said time and again, but your viewers will know. They can tell when you're not enjoying the game, like, hands down, they can tell. And so, yeah, it's. I mean, I'm full variety now, and I do stick to one genre for the most part, but I'm basically all variety, and I don't plan out game days or anything anymore. Or I just play whatever I feel like playing. And generally, I have like maybe 2 or 3 games that I can like bounce between during the week, and that helps keep it fresh for me. So hopefully that helps you out if you're struggling with gamer's block.
Yeah, it's a balancing act regardless of how you do it. It really, really, really is. But absolutely, Snowlit is right. You have to do you have to find a way to enjoy what you're doing as a streamer, because I mean, none of us are actors. You know, even if we are like some of us actually are actors and actresses, not us as far as I know, but there are some people that I know that stream, and even those people, because it's different. You know, you're live for so many hours, right? And you're connecting with your community. And it's very difficult to put on an act for that amount of time in every aspect, especially in your enjoyment of the game. You know, maybe Casey Tron can do that, but I think the majority of us are ourselves and enjoy sharing who we are and how we enjoy games and how we experience games in a genuine way with our communities. And so if we're not having fun, it's very obvious. You can't, the whole point, I think, of being a streamer, right? The reality is you're not going to make crazy money. Nobody's buying mansions. Okay. Most of us can't even buy a house. Like, that's just not the reality of broadcasting. That's not what this is about.
I have a
for
basement. I'm happy with that.
Right. If we can keep the lights on and we can keep the cats in catnip, and I think Snowlit's above me. If we can keep the puppies fed and the parrots happy and all of the, all of the scaly friends and fruit and things. If we can take care of our families and feed ourselves and keep the lights on, we're happy. But the reason we do this is because it makes us happy. So if what we're playing is no longer making us happy, it doesn't make sense to keep doing it, right? So you got to find something that makes you happy. If you have gamer's block, try a different game, try a different genre. Look at other streams and be like, maybe there's something that will inspire me. Go to your Steam queue or go to someone else's Steam queue. Find something else to play. There's so many good games out there. There's so many innovative experiences that you can have. You can do a creative stream if you've never done it before. There's so many things you could do. If you're finding yourself blocked, find something that inspires you, that excites you again. It could be totally different. It's worth finding that thing.
And if you just, one of the streams, I've only done kind of one time, but it was really, really interesting. I was at a point where I was kind of this was a while back, having sort of streamer's block, and I took one night and I played, not Bastion, Braid. I played a Braid, start to finish, one sitting. It was a chill night. It was very low key. It was wonderful. If any of you have played the game, the soundtrack for Braid is so good. We started the stream with that music and then ended it. It was a one-off. I wasn't really sure what to play, and I'm like, we're taking one night, we're playing one game, we're gonna go start to finish. And I played it before, but it was awesome. There's no shame in taking, if you're dealing with block, take a night for yourself. If you have one game that you maybe wouldn't stream so often or really wouldn't take much time, but you absolutely love playing it, do it for a night. Do experiment. It's totally okay to experiment with different games, to try something new. If it doesn't work, okay, try something the next time. Just, something like that. It's okay to experiment. It's okay. And it's okay to admit if you just want to do something different for a night, just tell your chat that. You don't have to pretend to your chat in that sense.
I think communication's key.
Yeah.
It's like, you gotta let your community know, and especially if you're not feeling the game, be honest. Be like, hey, I was gonna do this today, but I decided to change my mind and we're gonna do this instead. This also applies to if you're gonna overhaul your complete, the type of games you even stream. Just an overall, almost like a branding content change. Communication every step of the way helps a ton, and viewers will appreciate that, and they understand.
And I have a question for everyone, if we have the time.
Yeah, go for it.
The only thing we didn't mention this in the new features that are here. I wanted to talk about the fact that we have the partners have the verified badge now, and there's a lot of controversy surrounding the badge, and so many streamers, they dislike it, and so many streamers are like, no, it's totally fine, there's nothing wrong with the badge. What are your guys' thoughts on the verified badge?
I said this in Discord. If you've earned it, show it. If you're a dick about it, I'm punting you from my channel. It's really that simple. I understand. I totally understand the concern, but to me, the biggest thing is it's really evident up front. If someone is going to flaunt their badge, to strut their stuff, that's going to be obvious right off the top. And you really don't you really wouldn't keep those people around anyway. Really, like what I said with the tiered system and concerns about favoritism, if a person is going to flaunt a badge and you don't want that attitude in community, you don't want them around. If anything, I guess one way of looking at it is it will bring it up. The attitude will then rise to the top. To me anyway, and other people can have different thoughts. I don't think it's that complicated. I'm not threatened by someone who has a verified badge coming in and existing in my channel. Neither does my community. It's going to be blatantly obvious if they're trying to, use it to put me down. And if they're doing that, the ban button's there. It's not that big of a deal.
I think also some of the concern I remember, other than, people thinking it's like self-advertising, some of the criticism that I've seen in general is that some people feel like they see like a partner who comes in, says hi, and then never actually participates in the community. They just say hi for the sake of showing it off, kind of a deal. So I guess there is that. I can see that concern. I personally haven't seen it in my channel or anywhere else really, but some people have been like, hey, I've seen partners come in, say hi, and then disappear. And it's like they jump over chats just to do that. And I'm like, well, I mean, if they want to do that, that's on them. But at the same time, it's you as a streamer, you're in control of your cast. And if somebody comes in and does that, just treat them like anybody else and be like, hey, and if they never respond, that's cool too. Just let them go. If they're lurking, they're lurking. If they're not, they just ran off, whatever, But I feel like with all these new features especially, too many people are trying to find ways to complain. And a lot of these complaints are not based in anything, I feel, other than, again, what Reaper mentioned, the feeling of being threatened. And if you're feeling threatened, maybe you gotta sit down and reanalyze, why you're streaming in the first place, right? That's just my 2 cents.
I totally agree with you, Snowlit, 100%. If you're feeling threatened, that's because of your insecurities about your own situation. That's one. And 2, like for me, I love seeing that badge because it makes me follow people. If I see them, if I see a verified badge in another channel that I'm in, that means that me and that streamer who's partnered, who's obviously taking their stream seriously, right? Have something in common. So pretty much it's a guarantee that I'm gonna follow you, whether you show up in my stream. If you show up in my stream and you do that thing where you just say hi and disappear, I probably won't follow you. But if you show up in my stream and you hang out and you engage with the community in a way that's relevant to my cast, not just talking about yourself, which would be weird. But if you're there and you're like, hey Tess, tell me about the game you're playing, or tell me about your day, or if you're talking in my stream about what's going on in my stream or with my community, or if I see you in Snowlit stream and you're talking about her cat, or you're talking about Starlet's puppy, or you're talking about Codex's epic voice, I'm gonna be like, follow, click on name, follow, click on name.
People can tell when streamers are either friends with the streamer that they're hanging out with, or actively part of a community, with or without the badge.
Or trying to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something I think to keep in mind for sure.
I want to get to know other casters. I follow a stupid number of people. I follow 400 people on Twitch. It's ridiculous, and I need to somehow pare that number down, but I can't, because I follow people from the community. I follow other casters. I want to know what's going on with Twitch. I want to know what other casters are doing. I want to get to know other casters as well as other viewers and members of all of the communities that I'm a part of. I love seeing that verified badge because I know that that's another colleague, right? Yeah. These are people that I work with that do the same thing that I do. There is no one, as much as our significant others, and I have one that I live with that is literally my rock and gets everything somehow magically and supports me so much. But even still, no one understands what we do like the other people that do it. No one. And I love meeting other people that do it, and I love that I'm a member of teams that have affiliates. like Codex. I think he's that way.
Yeah, that way.
That way. You know, I love that we have affiliates like Pulse Effects, who's another one on our team. You know, I love that there are broadcasters that are trying to become affiliates. You know, I love knowing who is taking this in that direction, because these are my colleagues. These are people that I work with that understand what I do better than anyone else. And there's no one else that I could talk to about that. So I love meeting those people. And if I can help them somehow, great. If I can, you know, even just hang out in their stream and check out what they're about, great. I'm not going to do that if I don't know that they're broadcasters. You know, and it's totally okay if you're not a broadcaster. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to be your friend because you're not a broadcaster, but it's a different thing when these are my colleagues, and I like knowing that. I like knowing when my colleagues are watching my stream, because it's cool. You know, I want their opinion on what I'm doing. I want them to speak up and say something, because I would love to pick their brain about what they think I could do better. Yeah.
I totally agree with everything that has been said. I think it's great. I love seeing the badge in there. I love it. I really enjoy it. I like it as a feature. I know a lot of streamers, you know, have this issue with, you know, maybe it's self-advertising and all that. And I mean, you are what you make it. You know, Twitch has given you the feature. If you want to go out and flaunt it and use it as a self-advertising tool, then that's you doing that. A lot of people aren't going to do that. A lot of people are just going to have it and be like, I'm happy I got a little badge. It looks so cute, it's my name. And then I find people and I follow them and through it, and it's really nice. And it's like, oh, the partner sees your badge and I like your badge. Oh, I like your badge. You know, it's a fun little thing. The only downfall I see with it for me now is I've been in like some people's chats and I have it on, and I feel a little bit unwelcome with it on, even though I'm trying to interact, I'm trying to talk to them, I'm just like I normally do, but I feel that pressure, like maybe I feel this unwelcome because I have the badge on, maybe I should take it off. You know, I'm feeling that pressure now.
Do you feel that's something that could possibly be something that you think is happening, or are other people actually making you feel unwelcome?
I'm feeling it's not the chat, it's more, you know, the streamer sees it and doesn't like it. You know, some people don't like the badge and they see it as they're threatened by it, and I feel uncomfortable making them feel uncomfortable. I'm like, maybe I should turn it off. Like, I don't, it's a little conflicting, because I don't know, should I keep it on globally, or should I use it in people I know that don't mind it? You know, it's hard in that sense. Because, you know, there is a lot of partner streamers that don't like it, and I don't want to kind of offend them with my badge. Not that I'm trying to flaunt it, but just that I'm there in their channel, I want to say hello, but I feel like sometimes people, they don't want it in there, and it's tricky. It's a tricky situation. I don't know whether to keep it on.
I feel like it's not the best solution, but I feel like something for that would be to, if you can tell they clearly just don't want you to have it on, then don't network with them, I guess, you know?
That's
just,
exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, like you can definitely never go back, right? And it's you can usually tell. And if you feel that way, you know, it's whether or not it's true, it's just one of those like, hey, you can usually tell when you don't click with somebody, right? And so, you know, if that's the case, then all the more reason to be like, hey, there's so many other people to get to know instead. That would be more receptive to you and your talents and what you bring to the table as a colleague, as a friend, as somebody to network with, right? So that's my suggestion, but obviously it's usually easier said than done.
Well, I mean, my thought going off of that, Snowy, is the way that I would see that is, you know, if what the person feels threatened by isn't the badge. It's everything that they think that represents. You're a bigger streamer. Maybe they think you're more successful. Maybe they feel threatened by your presence. That doesn't go away with the badge being gone. So that to me would be an indicator of, you know, if they're look at it this way, if they're going to be turned off by a badge, are you really going to expect this person will network with you if the badge is off? To me, I would kind of lean towards maybe, but that's where I start getting suspicious. Is look, if my badge alone sets you off, what are you going to do if, you know, I raid you? what are you going to do if the opportunity to network with me comes up? If you're threatened by my badge, wouldn't you be threatened by me? That's kind of where my mind goes.
I know, I completely see where you're coming from, but I think with some people, it's more the fact, it's not you being a partnered streamer that upsets them, it's you having that badge there. In some way they think it's self-advertising and they take it as, oh, they're in here just to self-advertise. Not the fact that you're a partnered streamer, not the fact that you want to network with them, but the fact that the badge shows that you're trying to self-advertise, when you're not. You're just trying to have a conversation and you don't think anything of the badge, and it's difficult. It's a difficult situation.
I can see that.
It might not always be the fact that that person is close to networking. It may be the fact that they judge the badge in the wrong way, you know? It's difficult. It's a difficult one.
I don't get the whole judging the badge poorly thing.
Yes, neither do
you
I.
know?
No.
I totally get like what Cheese was just talking about. Like, there are times when I will be lurking in Snowlit's channel or Lynx's channel or like Kung Fu's channel, for example. People whose communities literally are the same as mine, that know me so well. And if I speak up, right, if I say something in their streams, they will, like, it'll distract from whatever's going on in the channel, you know, and like everyone in the chat is going to be like, hi Tess, and I'll be like, hi, and I feel like I have to respond to everyone because they'll know me and they're my community too, you know, especially teammates channels. Me turning off my badge would make zero difference in that situation, so I don't say anything a lot of the time. Like, sometimes I'll whisper the caster, but other times I don't even want to bother the caster because they're in the middle of their stream. I'll just sit there and maybe I'll say something in Discord, or maybe I won't say anything at all. I'll just watch. Like, there's so many times that I watch Snowlit and Lynx in particular, because they're two of my favorite people, and they're on like after I'm on. And so I'll literally have them up on two of my monitors or on the same monitor next to each other, and I'll just be like hanging out, and I won't say a word. I'll be working on my own stream, but I can't turn them on. Like, I can't talk in their channel because that requires a lot of effort, right? People are going to respond to you. Hi, Tim. But I mean, that's the thing, you know, like, it doesn't mean that I don't love the community, but like, after my own stream, I'm tired. I just want to like chill and watch and be anonymous. And so I might not talk at all in a stream. But when I do choose to talk, I don't think it's bad to have my badge turned on. You know, if that person really responds negatively to it, maybe that's not a person that I care about networking with. You know, I'm never going to come into a stream and be like, hey, look, I'm a partner, everyone follow me.
No, I know,
You know?
It's just, a lot of people, you know, this was the main feature I think a lot of people had the most negativity towards, and especially partners. Partners were the ones who were really negative about it. Like, that person has a badge, they can't come in my stream and talk in my stream. They're gonna steal all my fucking views.
You're fine. You're fine. Bad words are okay. Okay, on occasion.
You almost made it. So close and yet so far.
It's okay. We've had it in past episodes once or twice. It's okay.
Good. But yeah, you know, it's the one that's had the most backlash, and I think it's hard to deal with it because I don't want to upset anyone. Whereas I have no problem with the badge. I have no problem anyone using it in my stream. I like to see it. I'm like, oh hey, you know, I like it. I think it's a good feature, but it's hard to get a balance with it, knowing if someone's gonna dislike it or like it. And I don't want to offend anyone. And sometimes, you know, it's not because that person is against networking and hates it, they just dislike the badge. That's just what they don't like, and they may view you differently because you are showing the badge and their opinion on it. But it's just hard. I think there's a balance with it. I think what I do now is mainly I have it on my friends' channels who I know who completely support it, and if I go into a new channel, I'll kind of be like, I'll just feel it out and see how it goes, and if not, I'll just kind of not go back, and that's that, unfortunately. But
So would you
I just
turn it
feel
on?
like that's such a hassle
Yeah.
to turn it on and off. Like, I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to waste my time.
I just
I know,
wonder, so if you get a good feel from a channel, Starlet, would you turn it on like
No.
midway hanging out?
No.
I'm just wondering how would you do it?
That would be awful. Like, oh, I'm a
Surprise!
partner. No, I mean, I could like stay in there, build a community with them, then turn it on. But I mean, I don't know if that's a good thing. I mean, get to know them. Like after a week or so, be in there like, hey, how you doing? You know, really interact, and then turn it on and be like, oh yeah, do you mind badges maybe? I don't know how it would work, but it's difficult sometimes because I have seen it. Because I go around loads of new channels and like, hey, how are you doing? I'm very big on doing that, and I have noticed that people seem to dislike the badge, and it was the most negative thing I think of all the new features. So it's difficult. It's just, I guess it's personal preference how you deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think trying to judge the situation, I mean, that's not what I would do, but I see the argument that you're making. I think I can see I can see why you would do that, and it makes sense. I guess for me, the way that I personally, I mean, I don't have a badge. Should I get partnered, I'll have one. My basic thought is it's built on, I don't want to say a false assumption, because there are people that swing in to a channel and they try to, skim viewers. They try to do that. Those people exist. But where I feel that sense of being threatened breaks apart is, yes, there are streamers that do that, but I think you'd be hard pressed to find a lot of community viewers that will buy into that.
Yeah.
That will be part of that. That's where, to me, it breaks down. Is in order for somebody to, steal your viewers, well, the viewers have to go to you. And every time that, I've been viewing, I've discovered partnered casters because of the badge. I never went to them and dropped the streamer I found them. It just was an indicator, a way to discover other people. So that's kind of, for me, where that breaks down, is someone is being threatened by something that, for me, I would never do. But I also feel is not, I understand the concern, but is it what it's all blown up to be? My personal experience says no, not at all. And on the, take it a little bit further, if you're worried about people stealing your viewers, do you trust your community? Do you, I mean, that's, I don't know, maybe that's not quite the road you want to go down, but it's more complicated than just a streamer coming in and taking your viewers. There's more layers that go into that.
Tess is making a good point, because I was about to bring this up about, other people's emotes in your chat. The badge is the same sort of deal. If you have issues with other people using other emotes, whether it's their own or not, in your chat, do you get offended? Do you feel threatened? It's just one of those, like, it makes no sense to get, forgive my wording, to get your panties in a bunch about a badge.
Yeah.
Right?
It's crazy.
I wouldn't
how
know
that happened.
Snowlit.
There has been so much backlash about it. There really has, with the partners. I think it's because I think they don't care about the emotes because, this is a new thing. The emotes have always been there. This is brand new. It may be threatening to some people. I don't get it, but there is a lot of, that kind of talk going around that, oh, I hate these badges, and a lot, Twitter discussions about the badge. And there's just a lot of backlash from partners I've seen about it, but I really like it. And I think Twitch, they're providing it. It's great that you can, maybe it's not, to be honest, maybe it's a bad thing that you can turn it off. Maybe if it was permanently there, it would completely fix the issue. Like, I can't turn it off.
Yeah, actually, I agree with that.
I think they should not give you the right to turn it off.
Yes, and then
just
you
like
can't
with Twitch staff badges, unless there is the
Yes.
option to turn that off.
Yeah,
Comrade
Twitch
can let
staff-
us know.
I mean, I don't think there is actually. I think Twitch staff has to come in on an alt account, or maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a way. Maybe there's a way that they can lurk and not be Twitch staff. But I know, Cheese, when you want to lurk. I know. But the thing is, like, you're okay. So,
that would stop the issue, though. That would.
It
I can't
would.
turn it off. I'm sorry. Like, it would be like,
Comrade can't turn it off. That's the thing. I feel like it shouldn't be something that we could turn off, and that would totally eliminate the
fix
issue.
it.
and the controversy. Yeah, and the controversy is stupid to begin with. I would not know Snowlit. It's the stupidest controversy in the world. I would not know Snowlit. I would not have some of my best friends on Twitch, that I've met through this stream, this community and this stream and this team, if not for her using her snowy turret, which doesn't even exist anymore. It's a different emote. I still have the furler. Like 2.5 years ago, she used it in my stream, and I was like, that's the cutest thing ever. And I followed her purely because of the emote.
One of the most toxic attitudes you could have as a streamer is seeing other streamers as threat, as a competition. I mean, that was a lesson that I know nothing dramatic happened, but I had to process that like long before I did anything with variety. That is the number one. That and I mean, your self-confidence level tied into this, but if there's one thing that will make you and your channel toxic as hell faster than anything else, is seeing other people as competition, seeing other people as a threat. You will not make it on Twitch if that's your attitude. And in a way, I wonder if some of that is being brought up with this whole badge controversy, because I've seen so many casters, other partners and non-partners, see that badge as a threat, as something to fight against. And I'm thinking, what are you fighting against? The concern, yeah, there are bad streamers out there, but that's not, what I see the reaction is, it seems to be more than just that. It seems to be rooted in not that, well, people can abuse it, but in a fear, and maybe my perception's off, but it seems to actually be rooted in this fear of other streamers, of their presence affecting you. The reason that I've made it as far as I have as a small caster is because of other people that have bigger channels. Snowlit and Kira were two of the first ones. Then so many other of my teammates on the Chillest, because other bigger channels rallied around me. I would not be here without those bigger channels. I would not be here without those partners encouraging me, lurking, raiding, or what have you. Wouldn't be here without them. And if I'd seen any of them as a threat, wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
Very good point. So I don't know if this helps you any, Starlet, with your dilemma.
I mean, it's a dilemma, but I'm just gonna keep it on. I think that's just the simple thing of it. Just keep it on. If they don't like it, then obviously I can't stay there, and I'll move on. But it's a shame. It's a shame that it comes down to that. But I understand why Twitch hasn't kept it on permanently, because as well as, you want your cheer badge or you want your Twitch Prime badge. And some people, like Cheese Swizz, wants to be anonymous and doesn't want to have that, like, kind of, oh, what's that badge?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what's that? I mean, and another thing is, some people ask, what's that badge? How do I get that badge? And you don't want to say it. It's like, no, I'm not going to say that in another person's stream. That kind of looks bad. So, most of the time other viewers will just say, oh, that it's if you're partnered. But it definitely draws attention. I definitely say that. So I understand why they turned it off. It would fix all the problems if they just left it on. But I know that there's reasons, you're anonymous, Twitch Prime, all that stuff. So I completely understand why they didn't.
I think they should. I think they should change it. I mean,
so?
I know. I'm sorry, Cheese. I'm really sorry.
Cheese is like, no,
I apologize.
Please.
If they refuse, if they make it permanent for Twitch staff, they should make it permanent for partners for the same exact reasons. And I know Twitch staff members that go into streams and don't talk or make alt accounts. And I know it's a pain. I do, but I think the negativity around it is stupid, and I think it's good. It has a reason for existing, and I think it's a good reason. And I think honestly, the controversy is just absurd. So
it is.
I don't know what they can do about it now. I don't know if they made it permanent now that it wasn't permanent. That people are going to complain no matter what. That's the reality. People are going to complain if they make it permanent, or if they don't make it permanent, it'll be an uproar either way. So
I feel like a lot of the time the people that don't like the badge are also the people that felt threatened by the affiliate program as well.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I mean, I'm sure I don't have any stats to back up that statement, but I feel like those are the same kind of people that are getting offended about other partnership badges showing up in their chat. You know, people who felt, I guess, I don't really want to like generalize, but I feel like a lot of it has to do with insecurities with themselves as a caster, being like, I don't feel confident enough, so thus I feel threatened. And I know that's a very blanket generalization, but I feel like it's true for a lot of people who do feel threatened by the affiliate program or by, other partners having their partnership badge in their chat. You know, I don't know.
At the risk of speaking for plenty of other people, I think that's exactly it. And the reason I say that is every time for me, and I've observed this in other people too, but for me, every time that I have dealt with, feeling threatened or insignificant or not worthy, it all comes down to my own insecurities. That's a real thing. You don't want to dismiss those, but you have to call it out for what it is. You have to look at it. You have to look at why you feel this way and kind of analyze where's the threat coming from, and really is the person that you're blaming, the other partners or the affiliates, are they really the ones at fault? Because that's not what I see, and I've had to work through that on my own.
And,
I mean, honestly, sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, you go.
I think even for those of us that really don't ever want to feel threatened and want to have that confidence in ourselves at all times, I see a verified badge as an opportunity in my own stream or any other stream to get to know a new colleague. That's how I see it. However, I am absolutely insecure about my own stream and my ability as a caster and my own longevity as a caster and tomorrow all the time. I think that is a human state, and it could be related to so many different things. Anything that we do as human beings, we can worry that we're not doing well enough. Insecurities are a part of life. You have to be able to overcome them, and how you deal with them is the big thing. Not having them is okay, I think. It's inevitable. When you love something, right? When you truly care about something, and you might lose it when there's any chance of you losing it, which is everything worth having in life, not just a streaming career, but a significant other, a pet, there's so many different things. There's a million things. If you care about something, then you're going to be worried about losing it, and that makes you insecure. You have to try to overcome that every day, and everybody has those feelings. No one is alone in that. So many people have insecurities about how they look, how they appear to other people, so many things. Everyone can relate to that. I absolutely am insecure about my stream on a regular basis because I love it so much. I don't want it to go away. It means the universe to me. It as an abstract thing, but really the people, the community that I have been a part of, been so lucky to be a part of for the last 3 years. I don't want you guys to go away. And I don't want to lose that for my life. And so of course I worry about it. Everyone does. That's where that comes from. So I understand the people that are like, affiliates, badge, what is all this new stuff? And screw all this new stuff. I'm comfy in my little box, Get off my lawn, you damn kids. Yeah, exactly. But the reality is times change and our universe changes. I mean, think about technology in the last 10 years. 6 years ago, this wasn't a job. This wasn't a thing. This wasn't a thing at all. Playing video games for a living, what? 5 years is not that long of a time period. It's really not. Fade's cat isn't even Fade's cat. Snowlit's cat, Fade, and my cat Gingy aren't even that old. Okay, I don't know how old your
She's 20
your
months.
doggy is. I meant Starlet, yeah.
Jordy's 3. He's getting on. No, he's not getting on. He's 3. Three.
Okay.
He
So
acts
he's
like a
not
child.
even as
Yeah,
old
3, he's
as
over the
our
hill. He's
jobs,
completely over the
but
hill,
like,
Yeah.
you know, this wasn't a thing 5 years ago. It just wasn't even a thing. So like, you know, you got to move with the times. You got to grow and you got to learn and you got to try to overcome your own insecurities and do the best that you can, and be open to people.
That last part to me is key, and I would say be open to people, and especially be open to the right people, because it is. I remember it was shortly after I joined up with the Chillest, and at the time, I think there was like 15, 16 of us or whatever, and most of us were. I think a little more than half the team was partnered at that time. And I remember, going through my head thinking, okay, I'm a small streamer. I'm dealing with this problem, this insecurity, this issue, feeling all alone. And I remember seeing you partners talk about the struggles you were having. And I was sitting there thinking, wait, the partners on this team are having the exact same struggles and insecurities as me? Oh, that changes everything. One of the biggest things that has mattered to me on Twitch is being able to have people and places like this team to just talk with and be honest about. Find people that you can talk with, be open with, because here's the thing. Everyone actually, you're not alone in the insecurities. New channels, partners, everyone is dealing with it. You learn to talk with those people, because if you just sit stewing in your own headspace, voice of experience talking, by the way, if you just sit in your own headspace and just stew in that, you lose the chance to grow with other people, and you lose the chance to realize that no, there's other people walking right beside you going through the exact same thing. And even just being able to talk with somebody else and being able to say, yeah, me too, or to hear someone affirm, yeah, me too, I'm walking through the exact same thing, that changes the entire game.
Yeah, but overall, I guess in the end, you can't change how somebody feels. At least not overnight. So if somebody expresses anything negative towards you having a partner badge or whatever it is, using your own emotes, whatever, never go back, I guess, would be the way, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the basic consensus, I feel, based on the discussion overall. But anyway, so the podcast did go a little bit longer than I was predicting, but that was some really good discussion.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I think this was a good point because we haven't actually had a chance to discuss that either, from a team perspective, or at least from those of us on the team who would like to say something, right? So I feel like it's a really good thing to talk about. It's a great thing to talk about as well, because this is about Twitch's latest new features, right? We talked about the new sub-tier system. We talked about the emote tier changes. We talked about the affiliates program. So it was good. It was a good discussion overall to have, even though we went for about 4 hours. So it's actually, usually this is around when some of our longest podcast episodes have gone. But anyway, guys, that is the last question that we have on our little Q&A from you guys, from the viewers. So if you guys don't know, this is the Chillest podcast. This was episode 15 tonight. We talked about experiences with Twitch's new subsystem, as well as the new affiliates program. If you missed it, don't worry. The VOD will be available on both YouTube and under my highlights section. Don't forget to check those out. If you missed a lot of it, you can definitely check that out. Usually it's up by about an hour or two after the podcast ends. So, that said, we are the Chillest. If you guys don't know the Chillest is a stream team comprised of streamers both partnered and non-partnered who focus on interaction, positivity, and having high-quality content, welcoming communities, etc. Just great content and very engaging content overall. So there are 17 total of us right now. Do follow all of us. We are not the only ones on the team. And before we wrap things up, though, we're going to go do a last round of short self-introductions, let you guys know who we are. And we're going to start with Starlit again. I'm going clockwise.
I am Starlit. My stream is mainly focused on positivity, having a lot of fun. We are a very fun stream. We like to be very sassy and even naughty at times, but it's fun. It's really fun in there. I'm a variety streamer. I stream all different types of games. Right now we are playing Mass Effect Andromeda, I have loads more games planned. Prey, upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale game that's coming out. That's already out. Loads of things upcoming. We're very friendly. We love new people coming over, so don't hesitate to come over and say hi to us.
Sounds good. So I'm Snowlit. I am the creator and the leader of the Chillest. I do this full time. I stream every day except for Sunday, usually. And I usually focus on action-adventure RPGs and story-driven games in general. Recently, we finished Kingdom Hearts 1, my first playthrough ever, so that was really awesome. And we'll be moving on to Kingdom Hearts 2, my first playthrough of that as well. And we're also working on Nier Automata as well. Recently, I've done stuff like Horizon Zero Dawn, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, just stuff like that, The Witcher 3. So I tend to focus, like I said, on action-adventure RPGs and single-player story-driven stuff in general. And yeah, that's really about it. I like turtles, and I have a new cat that I've only had for maybe 13 days, and so she appears a lot on stream as a result. So that's why. So yeah, that's it. Next is Tess.
Hi. I stream action RPGs and FPS games. I used to stream scary games. I still stream them on occasion. I always wear a heart rate monitor no matter what I'm streaming to show you guys how scared or excited or hyped or happy or derpy I am. It's my way of being more interactive with you guys. I'm the first streamer on Twitch to do that, but there have been many others, and I think it's amazing that it's spreading. Anything to be more interactive is cool. Right now I'm maining Destiny. I love Destiny. I streamed it a long time ago in year 1, and then I kind of took a long break for a variety of reasons, not the least of which was my wrist injury. Awful problem to have as a gamer. But I have gotten past it with the help of my awesome community. I have an adapter that I can use to play games on consoles, and I play games on PC as well. So Destiny and Destiny 2 are kind of my main thing right now, but I'm also streaming stuff like The Surge. I love Souls-like games, and I love everything futuristic, sci-fi, cyberpunky, modern, dark fantasy, urban fantasy, stuff like that. Not so much old world fantasy, although there are some exceptions to that rule, like Dark Souls. Too good. The gameplay is too good. I don't care about the setting. And it's beautiful. And so I play a variety of things. Right now, Destiny, The Surge, which is basically Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne and Half-Life combined, is amazing. A little bit of Prey, lots of Destiny. I'll be playing Kingdom Hearts sometime in the relatively near future because that's the first video game I ever played, and I really want to replay it now that it's on PS4. And I can, because I couldn't play 2 because of the whole controller issue, wrist injury thing. We have a good time in my stream. There is an absolutely absurd amount of test derp. I have scaly and furry babies. I have 2 cats. One of them is a total butthole, but a sweetheart. She shows up on stream a lot. I have a lizard that lives in the tank behind me. That's what this is. He's hiding somewhere. I think you can kind of see his... No, you guys can't. He's back there, I promise. Yeah, there's a lot of derp. I stream in the mornings. Right now I'm trying my best to start at 9 a.m. Test time turns that into about 9:30-ish Eastern every day, except for Sundays. I start at kind of a random time because I'm doing charity events every Saturday this month, and Mondays are my day off. I think that's probably enough information. It's probably too much information. Go follow the other people. They're way more fun.
No.
And then last but definitely not least, Codex Reaper.
Right, Codex Reaper. Words are hard, kids. Creative and variety caster. We keep things chill over in my channel. I stream late night USA, and then early morning UK. Go way past midnight. We keep it chill. I stream in the relaxation community. Recently been doing a bunch of Civilization 6, trying my hand at some Baldur's Gate, the original Baldur's Gate. Also done games like Sunless Sea or Subnautica, which is hopefully going to be releasing its one of its final updates soon. I'm really stoked about that. So that's when we play. You can find me over 5 days a week over at twitch.tv/Codex Reaper. Also, I drink from an an overly large size mug. It's glorious. It's great for tea. And that's me. That's what I got.
Sounds good. So, if you guys missed it, you can type !podcast, follow all of us. We also had Bog Otter on the show earlier tonight, but he had to dip out early due to obligations. So, that said, though, follow everybody. We're not the only ones on the Chillest. The Chillest has a total of 17 members right now. And we are, again, a stream team of streamers that focus on positivity, engaging content, overall high-quality content, welcoming communities, and just lots of viewer interaction. So if any of that's your cup of tea, feel free to follow everybody. Like I said, we have everything from variety games to speedrunning to creative to just about everything, to be honest. So definitely you'll find something that you enjoy, guaranteed. But thank you guys all so much for the wonderful, wonderful discussions tonight. Like I said, this was episode 15, and we talked about Twitch's new sub-tier system, as well as the affiliates program, and the emote tier changes and all that good stuff. And if you guys asked questions as well, thank you guys so much for submitting questions during the episode. But yeah, that's really about it. We're gonna wrap it up here, and I want to thank you guys all as well, Starlit, Tess, Reaper, all of you guys for joining me tonight and spending time just talking about this awesome topic.
And thank you for setting up the podcast and being,
Yes, as always.
being the moderator
Yeah.
of it.
No
Seriously,
problem.
Great job.
thank you, Snowlit.
you.
Thank
I'm
you,
so
all of you
happy-
guys.
So happy to be a part of it this time because I haven't been. I always miss it.
It has been a while.
I really
all
really
good.
want to be on one. So yeah,
good.
I'm really happy.
good.
I caught this one.
So you guys are all amazing. So we're gonna wrap things up here. So thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Again, if you missed it, the VOD will be available on both YouTube and Twitch. But thank you again. And now this is where we say goodbye. Good night, everybody. Take care. Have a good night. Or if you're starting out your day, have a wonderful rest of your day. Oh, I don't know why I'm doing this. I always do that on my stream. Anyway, take care, everyone, and have a wonderful, wonderful night. Oh, I gotta go to the screen. Hold on. We good.